Today, it's the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets.
Sellout crowd, over 76,000 at the Meadowlands to see these two great rivals play. The Dolphins right in the thick of the race in the AFC East, a game behind division-leading Buffalo. The Jets in the cellar, but hoping to turn their season around after beating New England a week ago. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Meadowlands. Tom Hammond along with the first Jet elected to Pro Football's Hall of Fame, Joe Namath. We know all about Marino and company, but last week the Dolphins uncovered a new offensive weapon, rookie running back Sammy Smith.
Sammy Smith, he missed training camp. He's in sync now, and what this gives Marino and their offense is a chance to keep defenses off balance as well as control the ball late in the game. But Marino's really been getting a lot of help, Tom, from that defense of theirs that played very well the last 4 out of 5 weeks.
That's what Ken O'Brien needs, some help.
Oh, Ken O'Brien needs a lot of help. His pass protection must be good. Now, O'Brien, in my opinion, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he needs that pass protection as he got last week against a weak New England team. Now, on defense, the Jets have really been struggling. They only have 2 guys on the field with interceptions this season. Of course, that's McMillan and along with Hasty. But you see, they're learning a new defensive scheme. Ralph Hawkins, the defensive coordinator, has changed things around from what these young Jets were used to under Bud Carson, and these guys are still struggling trying to learn.
There's the wind, which might be a factor today. That's the flag atop the stadium. 51 degrees. The sun is out, though it's a little chilly. The wind gusting to 20 miles an hour on the field. And we'll note that it's a different direction sometimes than it is on the flag atop the stadium. The Dolphins have won the toss and have elected to receive, and the Jets will be kicking off. This is the second meeting this season between these two. The Jets won the earlier meeting at Joe Robbie Stadium 40-33, and Coach Shula can't afford to have his Dolphins swept by the Jets of Joe Walter. Davenport and Hampton are deep for Miami as Leahy kicks off. And it's taken by Hampton in the end zone and down there on the touchback, and the Dolphins will take over at their own 20-yard line. Here's a look at that starting offensive unit for the Dolphins. Up front, Mark Dennis continues to start at right tackle, replacing the injured Ronnie Lee. Marino has passed for 3,600 yards and 34 touchdowns against the Jets. Smith's 123 yards last week, the first 100-yard rushing day by a Dolphin since '87. In passing situations, Edmonds, Smith, and Davenport go out. Jensen will be the running back, and it'll be Mark Duper coming in a reserve role in the 4-wide situation for the Dolphins today. First down play is a run to Sammy Smith. And Smith gets a couple of yards to the 22. Stopped by Scott Mercereau. Here's a look at that New York defensive unit up front. Marty Lyons returns after an inactive week against New England with a knee injury. Among the linebackers, Clifton, the leading tackler for the 4th year. Big changes in the Jets when they go to their dime. And in the secondary for New York, they've given up 21 touchdown passes, most in the NFL, but no fault of Pro Bowler Eric McMillan, who shares the NFL lead with 5 interceptions. Jensen in the game now on second down for the Jets. Second and about 6. Sammy Smith tries to turn the corner. There's a flag down as Smith trips forward to the 33-yard line, which would be enough for a first down. But there is a penalty marker, and Pat Haggerty, the referee today, indicates it will be against Miami.
Yes, but already we've seen what Sammy Smith can do as far as carrying that rock. That first down, he gained tough yardage. He's what you call a heavy runner from the inside. He breaks tackles, and then he turns around and turns the corner, shows us the good speed to the outside.
Holding, number 11, offense.
So Jim Jensen, who had just come in the game for that play, is guilty of the hold. He goes out now, replaced by Ron Davenport, and the Dolphins will have the ball back inside their own 15-yard line. Don Shula asking Jensen what went wrong. The hold puts them with a 2nd and 16. Smith up the middle for 1 or 2. Kyle Clifton, the inside linebacker, and the Jets' leading tackler on the stop.
Kyle Clifton read it beautifully. Now, these Jets certainly know that Marino's #1 on their stop list, but Clifton, right in the middle of your screen, 59, just stays right at home, reads the play, then beats the block of the guard to make the tackle in the hole. Of course, there's Big Loggeman, Jeff Loggeman, that the Jets just really think's going to be a great player down the road.
5 receivers in for the Dolphins on 3rd and 14. Marino's pass is complete to Clayton. Mark Clayton up the middle, breaks it to the 40-yard line, and a Dolphin first down. Clifton had to chase him down as Clayton came across the middle for 25 yards on Marino's first pass of the day.
Right there's the Jets' problems. They have to get to Marino to be able to stop Clayton. Now, Clayton made a little 12-yard catch, but with his speed and agility, he turns upfield, and the Jets don't converge quickly enough to stop him from making the first down. He catches the ball well short of it on the right side of the screen. You'll see Clayton make this catch. Now he's going to break a tackle. Where are the rest of the Jets? There aren't any other Jets. You need to have gang tackling and pursuit.
First down, Dolphins at their own 41-yard line. Opening drive of the game from the Meadowlands. 12:20 left in the first quarter. Plenty of time for Marino, who throws it away. Good coverage by the Jets. Marino had time, but nobody was open. Marino told us yesterday that he expects to go down the field a little more with his passes, Joe. He had been taking what the defense had given him in the recent outings, which was the short game.
Sure, those old statistics are deceptive. They've shown that Marino has been going to the shorter pass, but the last few games, with the exception of Cincinnati, the teams they've played against have kept their cornerbacks deep. So Dan's been taking what they're giving, but he figures he can go deep on the Jets.
Jensen in for Davenport for the Dolphins. Jensen set on a wing to the left. Jets in their dime defense. Smith is the lone running back for Miami. Jensen in motion. Marino's pass intercepted. Intercepted by John Booty, who brings it back to the Dolphin 35-yard line. John Booty with his first interception of the season, and only the 3rd Jet secondary member to pick one off this year.
Marino throwing that ball in there where there are a couple of defenders. I believe Kerry Glenn gets in there closely, and Booty's going to get the tip ball. There's Kerry Glenn getting in the play and causing the deflection, and Booty alertly takes it upfield. That's what the Jets are going to have to do also. Try to get some turnovers. Usually, Tom, the team with the most plus turnovers come out on top, and no one ever knows how that's going to work out until game day.
Booty with his first interception brought it back 14 yards. They spot it at the 39 of Miami. Ken O'Brien has Townsell in motion, hands it to Johnny Hector. Hector, who is the Jets' second leading rusher, starting in place of the leading ground gainer, Freeman McNeil, gets some tough yardage up the middle. Here's a look at that New York offensive line. Pro Bowl center Jim Sweeney, by the way, was Dan Marino's center back in his college days at Pitt. Ken O'Brien comes off a 386-yard passing day against New England, had 329 yards in the Jets' win earlier this season against Miami. Burkett replacing Wesley Walker today. You see Freeman McNeil come in when the Jets go to their jet formation.
No, the Jets just put Al Toon in the game, Tom. That's a good sign for their offense. If Toon's healthy enough to get out there and run around some.
Toon's been hobbled by a pair of sprained ankles. O'Brien's first pass complete to a wide-open Werner as tight end, who chugs his way forward close to first down yardage, dragging Langford and Jr. with him. There's a look at Greg Werner, 6'4", 236 pounds, the rookie out of DePaul. Main claim to fame, I guess, attending the same college as Vice President Dan Quayle. Here's the Miami defense. Jeff Cross has really put the crunch in the Dolphin pass rush with 8 sacks. Inside linebackers Offerdahl and Krause, a lot to do with the improvement of the Miami defense. In the Miami dime, all 4 linebackers go out, and they wind up with 7 defensive backs. That secondary led by the 2 safeties, former University of Florida teammates Williams and Oliver. 3rd and 1 for the Jets. Hector fights his way forward for first down yardage. There's a late flag that goes down after Hugh Green made the tackle for the Dolphins.
Well, this last play, the Jets took out their tight end and put big Dave Cadigan in there on the side that they've just run.
It'll be a hold, though, against New York, so Joe Walton's club will be penalized after picking up first down yardage. Key mistake here.
Holding. Offense, number 66. Still 3rd down.
Dave Cadigan caught for holding. Cadigan, number 66.
Well, he was just in there at tight end. You know, it was a good move, offensive philosophy-wise. On the left side of your screen, extreme left, you see the player coming in on number 55. He's on the ground right now, and it looks like he gets that left arm up there to tackle Hugh Green.
7 defensive backs now on for the Dolphins on 3rd and 11. O'Brien chased from the pocket, buys some time and dumps it complete to Newbert, and Newbert out of bounds just short of the first down marker. He picked up 10 of the 11 they needed. It'll be 4th and less than a yard coming up for the Jets after Newbert on that catch from O'Brien.
Well, the Jets showed excellent pass protection that time. They kept Miami out of O'Brien's face. O'Brien just can't find a receiver downfield. They pick up the stunt in the middle by the Dolphins, and then O'Brien gets outside to Newbert. When you're 2-7 here, of course you go for the first down. Forget about the field goal.
And they will indeed go for it. Less than a yard. 3 tight ends, Newbert, Cadigan, and Dressel in. Hector spins and didn't make it. Great tackle by Paul Langford, who came up from a corner spot and spun Hector down short of the half yard he needed.
Frustration on Joe Walton's face. You can't make a yard when you need it. You have to be able to succeed in this league. Coach Shula certainly has to be happy with his defensive effort. Let's watch the play again. See if anybody blows the Dolphins off the ball. No way. Good fill in there by Offerdahl and Langford to make the play.
So the Jets get the first turnover of the game, but can't convert. The Dolphins-Jets series dead even at the moment, although the Jets are looking for a sweep this season, having won at Joe Robbie 40-33 in week 2. And the Dolphins in the hunt in that AFC East cannot afford to be swept by the last place team. So Miami takes over with a first down after the Jets went for it on 4th down and couldn't convert. There's Banks with a catch for a first down. Marino, as calmly as can be, loads and fires to Banks for 15 yards and a Dolphin first down. James Hasty runs him out of bounds, but Banks now is really getting it to be a part of that Miami offense.
First and 10, 46.
The Jets electing to go on 4th and less than a yard, passing up a 46-yard Leahy field goal. Leahy had been 2 of 3 between 40 and 50 yards, and it backfired. Here's Sammy Smith. Smith cuts up behind some pretty good blocking, twists his way to midfield. Troy Benson makes the stop on Sammy Smith. Smith said last week was the first week that he really felt comfortable when he came up to the line and reacted instinctively rather than having to think about what he was doing. He was a holdout, Joe, and he was, what, 8 or 9 weeks behind the rest of the offense.
Right, and what that does to you is it gets you in a state of confusion. You're out there trying to think about where you're supposed to go each and every play. It doesn't give you the liberty to run loosely. Coach Shula said that Smith has improved drastically just in the last couple of weeks.
And Smith again with some good yardage. Probably enough for a first down as he bangs into Jet territory inside the 45 before Gordon and Booty combine on the stop. John Booty, who had the interception earlier, replacing George Radachowski now in the secondary for the Jets. First down yardage for Miami. Ralph Hawkins, the new defensive coordinator, coming to the Jets to replace Bud Carson, who took over as head coach at Cleveland. Hawkins had been a coordinator under Chuck Knox at Seattle. First down at the 44-yard line. Sammy Smith has carried 4 times for 17 yards. Marino dumps it to Smith, who is whacked down immediately by Troy Benson. Smith caught the ball, and Benson, in his 4th year out of Pitt, was right there. He's the second leading tackler on this Jet team, was second also last year.
Right, but I'll tell you who made that play. Number 40, James Hasty, and number 48, Bobby Humphrey, the 2 cornerbacks of the Jets, took away the outside receivers. Dan Marino wanted to get that ball quickly to the outside. Hasty was all over his man, as well as Humphrey was all over his.
2nd and 10 for the Dolphins. Davenport the only setback. Banks wide left, Clayton wide right, Jensen on a wing. Davenport, big hole. A across the 40 down to the 39-yard line, where Eric McMillan and John Booty combined to get him down. Ron Davenport, the 4th leading rusher on this Dolphin team. That's his 14th carry of the season.
Well, he's going to carry that thing in the left side. You know, this running game, what it does, it keeps the defense off balance. They're playing passing yardage, long yardage situation. You stick a run at him here with Davenport, then you come up with a 3rd and 6, a 3rd and 5. It helps keep the ball away from the other team, and it helps run out the clock toward the end of the game. All these things Coach Shula knows his team needs if they're to make the playoffs, so they'll emphasize running the football.
And they have had good balance. 5 rushes, 5 passes so far. Plenty of time for Marino. Across the middle. Good coverage by the Jets, but Clayton does manage to make the grab with Kerry Glenn wrapped all over him.
Well, you see, Dan Marino's going to have a big day. The Jets are going to have a lot of problems if they don't get back there and at least hurry Marino a little bit, harass him a little bit, knock him down. But the Jets all season long have only 13 sacks, and Marino leads the world in getting rid of the ball with only 2. So I can't see the Jets faring well defensively. They're going to have to create some turnovers somehow.
Miami with a first down at the Jet 32. Marino goes downfield, and Clayton's got it for another Miami first down. This one to the 18-yard line, where Bobby Humphrey runs him out of bounds. Clayton has been the workhorse on the receiving end of those Marino passes. And Mark Clayton has another Miami first down.
Well, Clayton is scary. He has speed. He has good separation speed. You have to respect his deep pattern right there, and now he's going to break back out again. You see, Humphrey had to go on that deep break. Now, what made this play once again was all that time Marino had to hold the ball and wait for Clayton to make 2 breaks.
First down, Dolphins at the 18. Scoreless game, 7:15 remaining first quarter. Smith dances forward for 2 to the 16. Troy Benson makes the tackle for the Jets. Week 10 of the NFL season. Let's check some other scores now with our 10-minute ticker. Denver on the road with an early field goal. Buffalo, the division leader in the East. Washington on the road with a lead, and ditto for the Bears. Minnesota breaks on top of Tampa Bay. And here at the Meadowlands, no score, 6:40 left in the first quarter. Pat Haggerty stopping play there for a moment. Not sure why. What's that mean, Joe?
Yeah, hi, Pat. Hello. I guess he told his friends he was going to wave to him. That's one signal I don't have in my book.
9th play of the drive coming up, 2nd and 8. Marino almost intercepted. McMillan had his 6th pickoff of the season and dropped it. Farrell Edmonds was the intended receiver. McMillan in perfect position for the interception.
Oh, he reads Marino all the way. Dan's looking down the middle of the field, telling McMillan where he'd like to go, and McMillan just drops his 6th interception.
Third and 8.
I'm laughing because we got a Fisher report, Tom, on that signal. A new sign that means there's a beach ball on the field.
I knew that you'd spec it out. For the end zone, Marino's pass too long, intended for Andre Brown. Hasty was covering on the play, but Marino's pass too long. Marino now is 5 of 9 for 63 yards and an interception on the day.
Excellent coverage by James Hasty. That ball, if it had been on target, Hasty could have made the interception. Marino had to put that ball over top. What a scary position outside, trying to run with those speedy receivers all over the field when you're not getting any pass rush. I mean, it's next to impossible.
34-yard field goal attempt by Pete Stoyanovich of Miami. Sequels, the backup quarterback, is the holder, and Stoyanovich misses it. Stoyanovich is wide, and the Dolphins drive all the way down the field and come up empty. Still scoreless at the Meadowlands with 6:21 left in the quarter. Tom Hammond and Joe. The big story is that no points have been scored yet between these two high-powered offenses. Stoyanovich just missed for the first time this season inside the 40-yard line. He had been 11 for 11. Jets take over. This is Hector. Johnny Hector. To the 24-yard line where Brian Soche stops him with help from John Offerdahl.
Oh, that was a fine play by Soche that time. I mean, he got blocked down the line of scrimmage, turned around, fell back in there. This defense of the Dolphins has been playing very well. Of course, the return of Offerdahl, but E.J. Jr. has been playing well, and Hugh Green. I mean, they have a veteran bunch of linebackers there. They call them the Graybeards, but these guys have really picked up, and the defense is playing excellent football.
2nd and 6 for the Jets. Pitch it to Hector. Cuts up. Ridden out. Just a yard short of the first down. John Offerdahl was ready for the pitch and came up to make the stop for the Dolphins.
Offerdahl got out there quickly. He was a little deeper than he would have liked to have been when Hector finally got to his point. Number 56 will be sliding right to left across there, reading the play all the way. But you see, he had to get deep to avoid a block. And when Hector gets to him, he's about 4 yards downfield already.
Offerdahl was not playing when the Jets beat the Dolphins in week 2, and Don Shula was telling us yesterday that Offerdahl and Krause inside in the linebacking core has made a big difference in their defense. 3rd down play, again a pitch to Hector. Hector fights his way forward to the 30. It'll be close to the first down. Maybe just a bit short as Hector fought his way forward for yardage and perhaps came up just a tad short.
Oh boy, it sure is going to depend on the spot.
And they're discussing the spot right now. Here's the play again.
Oh, they spotted it short of that 30-yard line. Hector needs to get to that white stripe going across the field as he cuts back. He gets slowed up and hit by Krause. Where's the ball? It was short of that stripe.
That's where they spot it. And that means it will be 4th down.
Well, they're 0 for 2 in these short yardage situations. So Coach Joe Walton says, kick the darn thing. We can't go for it. We haven't made it yet.
So Shula's defense holds, and on 4th and less than a yard, Joe Prokop is on to punt, averaging 37.8 yards a kick. And it's Schwade's deep for the Dolphins.
I know the Dolphins defense has improved, but boy, to stop the Jets on 2 short yardage plays in a row, they're really doing some playing. Well, the Jets are just that inept.
Line drive punt takes a good jet bounce. Schwade's lets it go. Slowing down inside the 5-yard line, down at about the 4. There is a penalty marker on the field. 66-yard kick counting the roll, but we'll check the flag.
An eligible man downfield, number 54 on the kicker.
Oh boy, Troy Benson got downfield. You know, Walton's had problems here with the injuries, with the offensive line not playing well. New defensive system. The guys are trying to learn it. You look on the right side of your screen, number 54, just right there to the right of the hash mark, is already across the line. And you see the Prokop is just now punting the ball. No way he should be down there. Bad air by Troy Benson.
They had the Dolphins backed up to the 4, and Joe Walton just can't buy a break. A 66-yard punt inside the Dolphin 5, nullified by a penalty. They'll have to punt again. There's Prokop, who got off that 66-yarder. 76-yarder is the longest in the league this year.
I think Schwade's backed up a little bit.
I think he did. This one, the same kind of line drive kick, and Schwade's again lets it bounce, tries to field it, and finally is swamped at about the 33-yard line. Well, that punt covered 45 yards. Schwade's brought it back 3 as Prokop talks on the sideline after his 45-yard punt. It'll be the Dolphins' ball. Up on some of those stories they gave us in the pregame show. Had a feature on the Dolphins pointing out the weakness of their schedule. Makes it look good for Miami to make the playoffs. There's Sammy Smith, who also is important to the Dolphins' playoff hopes. He's been establishing a running game for Miami the last 2 weeks, and certainly has been the workhorse on the ground today so far.
Yeah, I wonder just how patient the Dolphins will be, though. It's nice to have a running game, but when the numbers aren't going up on the board as they have in the past, you have to Wonder how long they'll stay with the running game or start throwing the ball more often on first down.
These two teams have averaged 71 points a game in their last 7 meetings. And with 3:40 left in the first quarter, still no score in this one. Again, it's Sammy Smith. Not much there, a yard or two. Scott Mercereau on the stop for the Jets. And an injured player as we look at our ticker. Ron Davenport is the injured Dolphin. So there you have the scores up to date. Ron Davenport being helped to his feet, and we'll take a break here. Scoreless with 3:24 left in the first quarter.
The game is over. NBC Sports is still on the line. Dial 1-900-226-8000 for NBC's Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Scores Plus. Scores plus a whole lot more.
Ron Davenport apparently not seriously injured, trying to work off the injury on the sideline, and replaced by Jim Jensen in the backfield as Marino calls his play on 3rd and 5. Pressure, Marino loses it. Eric McMillan causes the fumble, and the Jets recover.
Well, McMillan got down in a 3-point stance on the left side of the line of scrimmage, a defensive right, and came from around the back door to knock the ball out of Dan Marino's hand. Now, I think that Marino recognized the fact that McMillan was going to come. McMillan from the left side of the screen is now in a 3-point stance, is just going to run right around the offensive tackle, Jeff Dellenbach, to make the fumble, cause the fumble.
First career sack for Eric McMillan. Knocks the ball loose, and the Jets with their second turnover. Second one they have taken from the Dolphins. First down at the Miami 30. O'Brien will go to the air. Too tall for the intended receiver, JoJo Townsell, who was covered by the linebacker, E.J. Jr.
Well, you won't see O'Brien miss an open man very often. He certainly did that time. The protection was good, and he goes over his head that time. Coach Schull and Dan Marino, I have to believe, are talking about the defensive scheme that the Jets just put on him with McMillan getting on the line of scrimmage and blitzing, but I really do believe Marino saw it coming.
The Dolphins winning over the Colts last week despite losing the football so many times. 2 of those fumbles were by Sammy Smith. 2nd and 10 for New York. Draw play. McNeil with his first carry. E.J. Jr. on the tackle of Freeman McNeil, the Jets' leading rusher, who Joe just hasn't been the same player since he injured the Colts' O'Brien Alston and seemed to affect his mental attitude.
Well, he had a tough time, especially in that game. As a football player, naturally, you want to keep your head in the game and help your teammates as much as possible, but Freeman's a very emotional man, very sensitive man, and it affected his play early on. Right now, I think the offensive line is affecting Freeman's play more than anything.
Here's a 3rd and 4. O'Brien has a man wide open, Hector, but he is unable to get enough yardage for the first down as Lewis Oliver, the rookie free safety of the Dolphins, came up in a hurry to prevent the first down being made. And this time, Joe Walton on 4th down is going to elect to go for the field goal and the lead.
Yeah, well, fool me once, fool me twice, or beat me once and twice, don't do it the 3rd time. You know, if O'Brien were having a good day, the Jets would be moving. On this last completion, had the ball been out in front of Hector, he would have been able to make the turn, but so far O'Brien's cold.
Leahy with a 38-yard field goal attempt. Prokop is the holder. That's actually Ryan in there holding now. Ryan will hold. That's his first hold, and Leahy out of that hold splits the uprights. Pat Leahy, the veteran in his 16th year, kicks a 38-yard field goal, and the New York Jets, after the Marino fumble, get the first points of the game. 1:19 left in the first quarter, and the Jets go on top 3-0.
Well, the Jets defense is doing a terrific job. They've had 2 turnovers that they created now. Eric McMillan dropped a certain third interception, and I have to feel that Marino's a little wary of throwing down that middle of the Jet defense that Coach Hawkins has them playing today. He's mixing things up. He really mixed it up when he brought McMillan up to the line of scrimmage, so maybe his defense is coming together. You know, when you have to learn a new system, Tom, you get out on that field, your mind is thinking about what your responsibilities are, and you don't have that reckless abandon. And as a defensive player, you have to be able to move quickly and move about fast, and these guys just don't have a grasp of all of the defensive schemes yet.
Well, here's a comparison of their defense last year after 9 games versus this year, and way down in sacks, way down in interceptions, way up in points allowed.
But you know what? It's not the defensive schemes that are the problem. It's the players. They're not making the big plays. You need someone on that defensive line to start getting in there. Individual effort. The individuals have to come up with the big plays. They haven't been getting them out of tune. He's been hurt. Walker's been hurt. Offensively, their line's been mixed up. So the Jet team as a whole, their players aren't owning up to their responsibilities individually.
Lorenzo Hampton fields Leahy's kick midway through the end zone and downs it. And the Dolphins will take over at their own 20. The Dolphins average starting at their own 27-yard line, while the Jets, taking advantage of the turnovers, average starting at midfield. There's the average drive start for the two teams here in the first quarter. A reminder to our viewers, we will be selecting a Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game. That'll come up at the conclusion of the contest.
I'd expect Marino to start throwing a few more passes than sticking with the running game right now. The Jet defense hasn't been good back there in the secondary, and he's got to give it a chance with that passing game.
There's that wind that's atop the stadium, swirling down on the field, gusting to 20 miles an hour. Sammy Smith, as the Dolphins continue to run the football. Penalty marker down as Smith. The Jets say they have a fumble. Smith has had a problem of fumbling the football, as we told you a week ago when he fumbled it twice.
You see, Tom, I still have that knack of knowing when to pass and when to run. Had they had a pass play on, it'd be no holding penalty, maybe a completion. Should have gone with the pass that time, Dan.
Pat Haggerty sorting things out as Shula sends Jensen in with a play. There obviously was no fumble, or the Jets would decline the penalty. Let's see. Here's Haggerty.
Holding, number 62, offense.
Harry Galbraith on the hold against the Dolphins. There's Galbraith, number 62, in his second year out of Tennessee.
Oh, we'll see number 62 just on the right side of your screen. He has his right arm. Galbraith is holding Fraze right there and throws him to the ground. Now, Smith's had a couple of fumbles last week. Carl Tassip, the running back coach, says he's not going to change his style one bit. Let him run. They were just tough hits.
First and 20 now for Miami. Jets leading 3-0. Less than a minute remaining first quarter. Sammy Smith fights off one tackler, gets to the outside, and is bumped out about the 16-yard line. A good run when it didn't look like much was there. John Booty finally forces him out of bounds.
Well, that's the thing about Smith. He'll get you yards when it doesn't look like you're going to get any. I mentioned earlier that he's a heavy runner. He can take it inside and carry some of those big defensive linemen for a yard or two. Plus, he has the speed to break it outside for the long gainers.
Smith with a big game a week ago after the Dolphins had really been decimated in running backs. Stratford and Logan had been injured, and Smith came to the fore after Coach Shula said had a couple of good weeks of practice.
McMillan is on the top defensive line of scrimmage. On the top right now, this is the same defensive front they showed when they caused the fumble earlier.
Marino's pass off the hands of Brian Kinchin, the tight end, and it'll bring up a third down play for the Dolphins.
Well, you see what the Jets did. They showed Marino that same look that caused him to fumble before, and then just before the snap, you'll see at the top of your screen, McMillan will come back off the line of scrimmage. Here he is. You see him? He's going back in the pass coverage, and Marino thinks he has to unload it quickly.
And he doesn't unload it too quickly. Kinchin can't handle it, and it'll be third down coming up for Miami. Third and long.
Jet coordinator Ralph Hawkins mixing those defensive fronts up quite a bit, confusing Miami.
Andre Brown wide to the right with Clayton in the slot. Gets it sail, incomplete. Too tall for Brown, the intended receiver. Bobby Humphrey was covering on the play, but Marino misfires there, and the Dolphins will have to punt from deep in their own territory.
Well, being an ex-quarterback, Andre Brown should have caught that ball. He had both hands on it and went right through. New Orleans, boy, they jumped out 14-0. No surprises here, huh?
Minnesota with a big early lead at Tampa Bay.
I'd have to say that Detroit 10-0 lead over Green Bay is a surprise.
Townsell is deep for the Jets as Roby is on for his first punt of the day, averaging 42.5 yards a kick. And lets this one sail downfield. Townsell all the way back to his 35, looks to get outside, and is finally stopped at about the 45-yard line. Good field position again for the Jets. Farrell Edmonds downfield to make the stop for Miami after the punt covered 52 yards, and Townsell was able to return it 7.
Farrell Edmonds did a terrific job of containing Townsell that time. Had Edmonds not been outside to make him Townsell turn in, that could have been a long return.
Well, the battle of field position has been won by the Jets so far, who lead it 3-0 with 25 seconds left in the first quarter. Pitches to McNeil, and looks to pass, and then decides to run to midfield and into Dolphin territory to about the 47-yard line. A gain of 8 or 9 on the play before Junior and Offerdahl recover to stop Freeman McNeil.
Well, I don't know exactly what play they had that time, whether McNeil was going to in fact pull up and throw a pass or try to run it around end, but whatever it was, he made the right decision in cutting back.
All right, good run by McNeil as the first quarter comes to an end with the Jets leading 3-0. $76,000 at the Meadowlands. Welcome back, Tom Hammond and Joe Namath, as we start the second quarter with the Jets leading Miami 3-0. And the Jets with a 2nd and 1 here. They failed on 2 earlier short yardage plays, 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1. Now a 2nd and 1 and a handoff. It's to Hector, and Johnny Hector does pick up a short yardage first down for New York. Their first down of the game. Brian Soche, the nose tackle, makes the stop for Miami.
You know, that 2nd and 1 as opposed to a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 are really different situations for the defense. It's almost a waste down for the offense, so the defense has to play the pass also. They can't just get up there in the line of scrimmage and challenge the line. So the Jets were successful that time, partially because there was a waste down for the offense.
3 tight ends, Newbert, Werner, and Dressel for the Jets. McNeil shakes one tackler, cuts up, and got a good gain on the play after the defense led by Jeff Cross got some penetration and disrupted the play.
See, that's the thing. The Dolphins are getting good penetration. They're creating a wall at the point of attack. On the right side is where McNeil wants to go, but the Dolphins are all over there in good pursuit. But McNeil, with his quickness, still quickness after 9 years, or in his 9th year, cuts it back to get some yardage.
Freeman McNeil, who has been the #1 rusher perennially for the Jets. He's led them in rushing the last 8 seasons and is #1 in this, his 9th, even though he has not started the last few weeks. Hector, nothing. Hector stopped for no gain by Jeff Cross. 3-0 Jets leading. Let's look at the first quarter stats as the Jets benefiting from 2 Miami turnovers. Edge statistically to the Dolphins in every category but those turnovers.
I know if O'Brien gets hot, the Jets are in very good shape. A couple of passes that he's thrown have been off target, but so far the Jet defense has really played well to give the offense a golden opportunity here to get out in front.
3rd and 4. Play action pass. O'Brien with time. Spots his man for a first down. That's Townsell that makes the catch just short of the Dolphin 20. Junior and Offerdahl back in coverage as Townsell went across the middle. O'Brien spotted him and picked up the first down.
Offensive line gives excellent protection for JoJo Townsell to make this break on Langford. He just runs a little stop pattern, and Miami's playing a zone defense, so he floats over to the hole, and all this was made possible because of that offensive pass protection, the offensive line doing such a good job.
Joe Walton and the Jets looking to add to their 3-point lead. First down at the 20. McNeil, 3 yards. Brian Sauché again stacking up the middle for the Dolphin defense.
The Jets are doing a good job of keeping the ball also out of Marino's hands. Not only are they advancing toward that Dolphin goal line with the McNeil runs, but they're keeping it out of the Dolphins' hands. The Jets are doing a good job so far today. Marino's getting a little edgy over there on the sideline.
He looks real antsy, doesn't he? Got to even buckling the chin strap right now.
Think he knows something we don't?
Yeah, meanwhile, the 7th play of the drive is coming up for the Jets, so they are keeping Marino on the sideline. Play action. O'Brien wide open to Townsell inside the 5. Langford and Offerdahl recovered to prevent the touchdown, but not until Townsell came wide open across the middle for 14 yards.
Well, Miami's playing a loose defense. They're zoning things back there, and the offensive line giving O'Brien time. You'll see Townsell come from left to right across the center of your screen underneath the linebackers. You see the linebackers have dropped out of the ballpark nearly. They're taking too deep a drop without checking first to see if anyone is coming underneath.
First and goal, New York, at the 4-yard line of Miami. Straight up the middle, for a yard or two, Johnny Hector.
Yo, I'm going to tell you something. We saw the Jets try to get a first down when they needed one on 3rd and short. We saw them try to get a first down on 4th when they needed it. They couldn't do it. I'd be awful surprised to see them trying that center of the line of scrimmage or the 2 tackles in between the tackles now. I would expect O'Brien to try the outside with the running game or some kind of a pass in the next 2 tries.
What play would you have called in this situation?
A touchdown.
Good. We like that. You did that a lot, as I recall. Give him a yard on the last play. Make it 2nd and goal from the 3. They'll go to the air. Can run it in. And did he get in? No. Hit at the goal line and driven back by the veteran linebacker E.J. Jr. O'Brien says, didn't I get in? The ref says no.
Well, that's one of those times. Lewis Oliver says, hey, you better take a dive, O'Brien. Dive for that end zone. O'Brien really must have thought he was in the end zone. I'd love to see a replay to see if he broke that plane. The offensive line once again just gives him all day, but excellent coverage by the Dolphins over there. Now we'll have a hard time seeing if he breaks the plane from this angle, but O'Brien just stopped rather than taking a dive and going in. I guess he thought he was in the end zone.
His foot was actually across, but the ball apparently was not.
Well, this is a better angle right here. Oh boy, wow. That's a good call, I believe.
And the replay booth is going to have a look at this one. Grover Clemmer is the replay official today. Did the ball break the plane? Well, very, very close.
You know, from this last review here, I don't think the ball breaks the plane. You folks at home, you decide for yourself. Where's the plane? Oh, my goodness, that's close.
Well, in the face of inconclusive evidence, the replay booth will let the play stand.
45-second clock.
And that is exactly what's going to happen. The play stands, so it's 3rd and goal.
They're trying to get that 45-second clock in order. Right now it's on 0, and they're running it down.
5 seconds.
Well, the Jets ready for their 10th play of this drive.
Thank you.
Olivadotti trying to rally his defenders for a goal line stand.
But I can stand here, you understand?
Hannigan, Newbert, Dressel, 3 tight ends. Try to go to the outside. Not there. Hector is thrown back for a loss on the play, and it was E.J. Jr. and Lewis Oliver that came up to prevent Hector from getting the corner and getting less than the yard he needed into the end zone.
Good defensive stand by E.J. Jr. and the rest of those Dolphs up front. They jammed the Jets at the line of scrimmage, and then the pursuit got outside to throw them for a loss. That's where the games are mostly won, in that line of scrimmage, and the Dolphins are controlling it.
So Leahy is on to attempt a 20-yard field goal on 4th down. Ryan now the holder. And the chip shot splits the uprights to the boos of this sellout crowd. The Jets came close, couldn't punch it in. Their lead now 6-0. New York Jets consume 6 minutes on the clock, 11 plays, but have to settle for the field goal. They lead 6-0, and Leahy is ready to kick it off. Schwades and Hampton are deep as Leahy approaches the football. And it's a low kick. Bouncing. Schwades fields it, drops it out of bounds. It'll be spotted right about the 20-yard line. Well, the Jets have had difficulty in short yardage situations today, and O'Brien just coming up short on the key play of the last possession.
Well, it's good coverage over there on Philip Epps. He's trying to get the ball to the quick receiver, but can't. Now he has a lane to run, and you just like to see that kind of Joe Cap attitude or something, you know, just selling out, trying to get in the end zone there. And obviously, instead of selling out, Kenny thought he was in the end zone. Just a good hit by the rookie safety, Oliver.
You know, Joe, as we look again, he actually pulled up. He slowed down as he got to the goal line. If he'd have kept his head of steam going, he would have bounded right into the end zone. Sammy Smith, for the 7th consecutive time, carries on 1st down for the Dolphins. Are the Dolphins establishing a tendency here? 7 first down carries for Smith.
Yes, and they want to run the ball. Coach Shula said that he's going to use Smith. He's not going to take the ball out of Dan Marino's hands, but he knows he must be able to control the ball on the ground to get to the playoffs. Late in the game, control the ball. Take the pass rush out of the game by running plays.
Smith has carried 8 times for 33 yards. Here he is again, and he's got a 1st down. Penalty marker flies through the air. Smith was tripped up after he gained about 6 or 7 yards, but the penalty will be against Miami. Shula's team has not been sharp today.
Holding, number 61, offense.
Roy Foster on the hold. And we've got an injured player on the field. We think it's Galbraith of the Dolphins. We'll be back in a moment. The flag atop the stadium while the goalpost banners are limp at the moment, but with that win, Joe, another good reason to have a running attack as Marino, under pressure, unloads it short of his intended receiver, Mark Clayton, and Marino goes down. Marino has missed his last 5 tosses in a row.
Well, he's going to get pressure from the rookie from Auburn, Ron Stallworth, on Marino's front side at the top of the screen, left side of the screen. You'll see Stallworth come in here. Marino knows that it's time to let the ball go.
Well, there haven't been many times that Marino's been put on his backside. He's only 5 of 12 so far on the day with 1 interception. And working on an 0 for his last 5 streak here on 3rd and 15. Tom Toth has replaced the injured Harry Galbraith at right guard for Miami. Plenty of time for Marino here, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Kerry Glenn, and Glenn just stepped in front of Mark Clayton, and Marino has been intercepted for the 2nd time today. Kerry Glenn with his first pickoff of the 1989 season, and it's been a long afternoon so far for Dan Marino.
Kerry Glenn on the right side of your screen is going to run a better pattern than Clayton. He'll break right underneath him. Right here, look here, you can't even see both guys. He's running such a good route. Marino counting on Clayton to get some separation there. Well, Kerry Glenn said, forget about it, buddy. I'm staying right with you. Well, he got the interception for doing it.
Marino has been picked off twice today, and great field position again for New York. Freeman McNeil cuts up and gains 6 yards after the Jets have their 3rd takeaway of the day against the Miami offense. Barry Krause, the veteran linebacker, stopping McNeil.
Well, this Jet offense better get something going. Whenever that defense is playing the way they are, you've got to take advantage of it. Coach Schuler knows that he's in a good situation. Fortunate to only be 6 points down with the 3 turnovers against him so far, and he can only hope that his defense will stiffen once again.
Joe Walton's defense has been spectacular so far. Give McNeil 9 yards on that last carry. 6-0 Jets. 7 minutes left in the half. Roger Vick on his first carry rambles to the 10-yard line, tight ropes in for the touchdown. Roger Vick with a 26-yard touchdown run, and Walton's team adds to its lead. Don Shula trying to get Marino and his offense on track as another turnover has cost the Dolphins. A smile on the face of Joe Walton. That's been rare these days.
Well, it's been rare that Roger Vick has shown the kind of style that a #1 draft pick should show.
Leahy adds the extra point, and the Jets make the Dolphins pay for the turnover. 13-zip. Thank you.
We'll take a look at the reverse angle of this replay, or of this play. Vick cuts it back. Watch the offensive line and the defense of the Dolphins. They all go the other way to the right, and Vick takes it to the outside and just outruns Oliver, the rookie safety. Now watch him tightrope down here. Looky here. How close is he to out of bounds? Is he going to get in? Well, he's in for sure.
Great run there by Roger Vick as Joe Walton's offense takes advantage that time of the Miami miscue. Don Shula on the verge of, as the short kick is taken on the bounce by Dave Aarons, one of the linebackers of the Dolphins, as Leahy kicks another bouncer. And the Dolphins will have one of their best spots on the field to start a drive today. Here's the ticker. Don Shula, as we were saying a moment ago, in danger of being swept by the last place Jets. Certainly if he's going to make the playoffs, that would deal a pretty severe blow to his chances. There's Shula, the veteran coach of the Dolphins in his 27th year, 20 with Miami. Marino with time goes long for Clayton, who can't quite gather it in. He was covered by James Hasty, and Marino now has missed 7 of his last pass attempts. 7 in a row missed by Marino.
Well, he's getting pretty good protection for the most part. In this last play, Clayton broke his pattern to take it upfield because he got behind Hasty. On the right side of your screen, you see Clayton possibly with good protection. Marino knows that he broke it and tries to get it to him in a hurry, but the ball's just a little bit thrown behind him. Once again, Hasty did a good job taking Clayton out of his basic pattern.
Jensen and Fa'aola in at a running back spots now as Marino straight back. Clayton can't handle it. Good defense again by James Hasty. Marino looking almost exclusively for Clayton now, and Hasty up to the challenge.
Oh, Hasty's looking like all world. We talked about the Jets not making good plays individually, not enough big plays, and right now Hasty is just doing a tremendous job of taking Clayton, taking him out of his pass route. This last play, he turned around to knock a beautifully thrown pass down. The timing was just right, but Hasty's timing was even better.
This is a secondary that has allowed 21 touchdown passes, most in the NFL. 3rd and 10 for Miami. You see the time left in the half. Marino. This time he has his man for a first down to the 35-yard line. Fred Banks makes the catch for 21 yards before Kyle Clifton can make the tackle.
Well, there's a hole back there in that defense. The Jets are kind of playing a 2-deep defensive zone kind of thing. And here you see Bobby Humphrey on the left side of your screen kind of just let the receiver go inside because he's responsible for the outside, and Marino just puts it right in the hole.
So the Dolphins now in business with a first down at the 34 of the Jets. Smith on another first down run is tripped up inside the 35 after a gain of 2. Jeff Lageman, the rookie linebacker out of Virginia, Jets first round draft choice, makes the tackle.
Hey, when you're playing well, it breeds confidence, and right now the confidence isn't on the Dolphins' offensive side of the ball for Sammy Smith. It's over there with the Jets and Hasty. Lageman taking a break right now. I mentioned earlier the Jets are really pleased with the way Lageman is playing. The players love his attitude. He's willing to play any position on that defense. He just wants to get in there and hit somebody.
The All-American and the All-ACC performer out of Virginia. Marino throws it away. Banks was closest to it, and Marino goes down again. Well, the Jets are getting the best pressure on Marino, actually, Joe, of anybody this season.
Well, you saw Marty Lyons back there helping Marino up. He and his teammates are putting some pressure on Marino, forcing him to throw the ball when he doesn't want to. Marino doesn't want to get rid of this pass when he has to, but he knows he has to, and he just simply overthrows. Right now, Benson Mercero 94 came clean and puts a good lick on Dan Marino.
I guess Buffalo had some pretty good pressure on Marino, but Lions and the Jets have really put the pressure on Dan today. 3rd and 9. Again pressured. Marino goes down back at the 42-yard line. Gerald Nichols, the man that was all over him. He's the backup in that defensive line, but he leads the Jets in sacks, and he got to Marino that time.
Well, he's the one that forces Marino to step up. Up the top of your screen, you see 77 kind of fighting his blocker and forcing Marino to step up in the pocket, and then Marino has nowhere to go that time. Good pass pressure by Nichols.
And Stoyanovich is on the field to try a 59-yard field goal. 45 has been his longest this season. There it goes, and it will be good! Pete Stoyanovich with a 59-yard field goal.
Here's the reverse angle of this 59-yarder. I thought they were kidding, Tom. I didn't think they were going to go for this thing. Look at that ball. Line driving, just barely getting over that upright. Or crossbar. How close can you get, folks?
59 yards. There wasn't any wind showing on the field at that time. The goalpost banners were still. Stoyanovich with that line drive shot. Look at him celebrate the longest field goal in the NFL this season.
Well, that's a real surprise. You know, one of those long field goals, all right, if it's indoors in the Astrodome or one of those dome stadiums, but outdoors here at Giant Stadium, oh, that's a tough word to say whenever you're here at Giant Stadium. But outdoors here, that makes that kick even more difficult.
Not only the longest in the NFL this year, but the longest ever by a Miami kicker. Stoyanovich, the rookie out of Indiana University, who formerly, through his junior year at IU, played both football and soccer. IU's all-time #1 place kicker. Left the Hoosiers to go for Don Shula's team and has just set a record 59-yard field goal. That ties for the 3rd longest field goal in NFL history. Ties Tony Franklin, who kicked one of 59 yards for Philadelphia back in 1979. Here's the kickoff taken by Townsell. Straight up the middle, he's got a lane. Almost broke it as a flag goes down. He's stopped at the 25-yard line by Jim Jensen. Penalty marker on the play. So a hold against the Dolphins will give the Jets again excellent field position.
Holding defensively. Number 88. 5-yard penalty.
Brian Kinchin on the hold, and they'll step it off against Shula's Dolphins.
A good return by JoJo Townsell. Coach Shula wants to know what's wrong, but it's easy to get a hand hung up on an opponent's face mask, and that appeared to be what the problem was that time.
Joe Walton and the Jets with the lead now, shrunk by that record-setting field goal. Go back on offense. Johnny Hector. Good run by Hector. He got about 8 yards, 7 or 8 anyway, before Hugh Green, the veteran linebacker, makes the tackle. There you see the scores again. Buffalo airing it out against Indianapolis. Jim Kelly has 2 touchdown passes in that one. New Orleans also with a big lead. Washington blanking Philadelphia. That's a bit of a surprise. Identical scores there in reverse. Minnesota over Tampa Bay and Detroit over Green Bay. Roger Vick, who scored the touchdown on the last Jet possession, picks up a first down here across his own 40 to the 43-yard line. Soche and Williams on the tackle for the Dolphins as the Jets of Joe Walton move the yard markers.
Walton has got to be pleased, as Richie Kotite is. That's Richie standing next to Joe Walton with the headphones on. He's the offensive coordinator of the Jets. They have to be pleased with their offense so far.
Sputtered a little bit early, not being able to punch it in, but looking better all the time as Johnny Hector again tries the center of the Dolphin defense and picks it up 3 or 4 yards before he's stopped by Krause, Offerdahl, and Soche. Stay with us at halftime now for NFL Live as we'll bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights Week 10.
Pleased with this offense so far, and then all of a sudden we remember those short yardage times where they got stuffed. So let me take that back, folks. The offensive coordinator's not pleased with the offense so far.
Well, that's what have you done for me lately, and lately they succeeded. O'Brien drills one complete for a first down to Greg Werner. Werner split Langford and Williams and was able to make a first down catch. That's only his 5th reception of the season. He had his first NFL reception against New England a week ago. In fact, gathered in 3. Werner was re-signed last week after being waived twice by the New York Jets.
Yeah, he caught a lot of passes, just passes at DePaul when he was in college. So many so that the Football News and Football Gazette had him on an All-American team. He's just awful young, and Kenny O'Brien says that the big problem with the tight ends right now, the Jets, is their lack of knowledge of this offensive plan.
We've reached the 2-minute warning here in the first half with the New York Jets holding the lead over the Miami Dolphins 13-3. 3 Jets with 2 minutes left in the half. Now, all week long, you've been bothering me about a rule change in the final 2 minutes. Let's hear it.
Well, I think they had to stop the clock when they moved the change. These offenses will get more plays. The fans will see more of the most exciting time of football. The last 2 minutes of the first half, the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. They don't have to add timeouts. I don't think it'll make the game longer, but if they stop that clock when they move the change, the offenses can hurry up there and they'll get more plays off, and we as fans will get to see better football and more of it.
Now, you went down to talk with the officials about it before the game today. What'd they say?
Well, they like it. It takes some of the burden off them worrying about the teams. You know, the teams are always saying, hurry up, place the ball, place the ball. So certainly to take some burden off them, and I really don't think it'll make the game any longer at all.
So are we going to start a campaign now?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the pass complete to Vick, and he's got some running room. Vick to the 25-yard line. That Jet offense continues to percolate. That time, Roger Vick takes it for 20 yards, and the Jets ready up at the line with their hurry-up offense. O'Brien with a deep drop. On the outlet to McNeil, to the 10. Touchdown! Jarvis Williams and Barry Krause for a 25-yard touchdown play.
Well, I tell you, the offensive line deserves a great deal of the credit here. And McNeil and O'Brien would be the first to tell you that's the reason this play clicked. Kenny O'Brien, the quarterback, couldn't find a receiver open. He had to step up into the line. He had about 4 or 5 seconds, and then McNeil slipped out of the backfield. Excellent pass protection.
Leahy's extra point is good, and the New York Jets extend their lead to 20-3. Leahy with the kick. Again, it's a low kick taken on a hop by one of the upbacks. And across the 40 to the 42-yard line. So the Dolphins with pretty good field position with, as you see, a minute 24 left in the first half. Brian Kinchin, who is the backup tight end, took that one on the hop and brought it back to the 42. Stay with us at halftime now for NFL Live to bring you all the highlights of the early starting games in Week 10.
Yeah, you have to question special teams coach Larry Pasquale on why he's kicking that ball short. Pasquale has to have some kind of a good reason. He must fear. There's Coach Pasquale, the special team coach of the Jets, and he is disgusted with this field position.
Well, we know Marino can strike in a hurry. There's a pass to Jensen into Jet territory down to the New York 48-yard line with Kyle Clifton on the stop there. Clock ticking away. Dolphins have all their timeouts remaining. Hurry up offense by Miami. Marino across the middle, complete. Inside the 20-yard line to Scott Schwades. McMillan and Knight bring him down, but bang, bang, and the Dolphins are knocking on the door. That one covered 34 yards.
Oh, Marino put that ball just where it had to be because Leander Knight, the defensive back for the Jets, number 20, will come. Well, this is the wrong replay. We'll get back to the right one. But Leander Knight, number 20, just comes in there, has good position, but never turns around for the ball, and Marino puts it right on target.
Well, Jensen made the catch there. We had a look at Fred Banks, who was running his route, and we knew Marino could strike in a hurry, and here he has 2 passes advancing the football all the way down into scoring territory, the so-called red zone. They're just shy of that now at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, but you got to wonder if you don't let Leahy kick that ball deep, or if you do let him kick it deep, they may have had to start out around the 20-25-yard line instead of the 40-plus.
So the Jets made it easy for Marino.
Oh, they certainly did.
First down, Miami. Actually, the ball I said at the 22, it's at the 17-yard line. Marino has a man again. It's Schwades dodging tacklers to the 6-yard line. Hasty and Knight spin him down. And Miami takes a timeout. So the Dolphins stop the clock with 48 seconds left. That's their second timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. Hard to read that clock, but it says 48 seconds.
You see Cliff Stout there with the black sweater on, finding out what Marino has on his mind, certainly, along with Coach Shula. They have another timeout left, so they're not that concerned with the clock. Coach Ralph Hawkins may be a little more concerned, but his defense doesn't have that much of the field to cover right now, so it does make it difficult for the offense to get in there. And of course, he's hoping his defense can get some pressure back there on Marino again.
Spot the ball at the 7-yard line and give the Dolphins a 1st and goal. Joe Walton holding his breath on the sideline, hoping to go to the locker room with a 17-point lead, but the Dolphins threatening. Shotgun formation. Jensen standing next to Marino. Marino to the goal line and in. Andre Brown with a touchdown catch. Brown with his 4th touchdown of the season. It covers 7 yards. And Shula's Dolphins strike with time running out in the half.
Well, you can't expect to keep these Dolphins under wrap all day long. On the screen to your left, Marino's going to look over there and find Brown, who just runs a little in pattern and gets away from 48, Bobby Humphrey. Well, we see another Jet on the ground there, but that wasn't much of a pattern. He just broke inside to the open area.
Stoyanovich with the extra point is good. And as you pointed out, Joe, one of the key factors in that quick drive for the Dolphins was the fact that the Jets' kickoff made it a little easier. They only had to cover 60 yards or so versus 80.
Yeah, they gave him a good chance there. Here, what you want to do is try and get pressure on Marino, but there's not that much, and it's a quick pass. And, wow, he's just wide open. Radakovich, the strong safety for the Jets, Radachowski, excuse me, number 25, went to the ground, and that appeared to be the reason that Brown was so open.
Well, we expected an offensive show, and things beginning to heat up here at the Meadowlands. Miami has scored on its last 2 possessions, 10 points. The Jets have scored on their last 4, and it's 20-10 New York with 44 seconds left in the half.
What do they make the over-under line in this game? About 73 or 4?
Nobody could count that high. Yeah. Ralph Hawkins' defense has played well for the most part in the first half.
Field position, Tom, is so important, you know, and Hawkins can't help but feel if his defense had a better shake on that kickoff, they wouldn't have given up that play so quickly.
Well, still 44 seconds left. Perhaps we aren't done yet. The way these two teams can score points. Quick review of the games. Most of them still approaching halftime. A couple of them already at the half. Some big margins in the first halves of those games today.
Certainly surprised at that Detroit score over Green Bay.
Been a hard team to figure, both of those clubs.
Yep.
Here's a good high kick by Stoyanovich. Taken by Townsell. JoJo Townsell gets to the outside with a blocker. And he is just short of the 40-yard line. There is a penalty marker on the play. Stoyanovich, the kicker, had to stop Townsell, but they're going to call it back with a hold. Holding call against New York.
Holding number 51 on the return.
So Mott on the hold. Pasquale is talking to Mott, number 51 there, about the infraction. Special teams have been a little shaky for New York today.
Well, they haven't made the big error of turning the ball over on special teams, but they've been getting some things called back because of penalties, big returns, plus a poor kickoff. Philosophy-wise, or a poor kick by Leahy the last time certainly gave good field position to the Dolphins.
Well, there haven't been any cries of Joe must go today at the stadium. And backed up here at his own 10-yard line, 9.5. Do you just run the clock out?
Absolutely. Run it out, buddy. Forget about it.
Hand off to Hector. Well, you still hear a few boos here. I don't know what they expect.
Well, you know, down here in this end of the field, or anywhere, when you put the ball in the air, it can be a good pass. It can tip off your receiver's hands, go up in the air for an interception. So many things can happen. A block pass at the line. You just can't take the chance with only a few seconds left in the half, thinking you're going to march it 90 yards. I think it's a good decision by Coach Walton to run it out.
And we will tick away. Just 2 seconds left. And that'll be the end of the first half from the Meadowlands. Well, the New York Jets, taking advantage of Miami turnovers, finally get their offense untracked and sprint to a 20-3 lead. Miami comes back with some quick Marino passes for a touchdown just before halftime. And as the ball even, yards rushing in favor of the Jets, yards passing, the Dolphins have the edge.
The fact that the Jets defense has fooled Marino on a couple of occasions. They've made the big plays. James Hasty alone has come up with some big plays, and Eric McMillan has made the big plays of all places, rushing the passer, creating a fumble. Coach Schull is certainly not happy with his running game so far. I think Sammy Smith looks all right, but he's not getting the blocking up front that he got last week, and that's because I think this Jet defense is playing their best ball in a long time.
Joe Walton, do you ascribe to the Joe must go theory that is prevalent around New York these days?
Well, you know, Joe Walton does things football-wise in a very sound manner, going around the league, talking with various coaches, finding out what the Jets do offensively and defensively. It's good. Offensively, they attack people properly, but you know, Walton has only had 2 winning seasons so far, and this is 7th season. You have to wonder, if the coach, or rather if the owner, Mr. Hess, is going to be patient enough to keep Joe Walton, because they did have some injuries early in the season, a lot of things. There's a lot of excuses for the Jets, and I have a feeling that Mr. Hess, if the Jets can finish strong, they can save Joe Walton's job. The players can save his job this season, Tom.
Being compared to your coach, Weeb Eubank, doesn't help any anyway. Weeb, of course, was very successful with your Jet teams.
Oh, he was successful in building a championship, but he was also very good at running the football end of the organization. And that's what the Jets missed when Weeb left, and they're still struggling in their scouting department. They haven't got the players out there to win consistently.
Here's the kickoff by the Dolphins. Downed in the end zone by Bobby Humphrey, and the Jets will start at their own 20 to get the second half underway. The last 5 possessions for the New York Jets resulted in a lot of points. They scored on 4 of the 5, only running the clock out at the end of the half. Before that, 4 straight possessions had resulted in points. And for the Dolphins, they got it cranked up toward the end, too. Their last 2 possessions resulted in points after they had misfired on their first 5.
But every one of their possessions started in their own territory, where the Jets have had better field position.
So New York starts at its own 20. First play of the third quarter. And O'Brien opens with a pass complete to Townsell for 8 yards. Townsell bumped hard out of bounds by E.J. Jr., and O'Brien goes over to see if his wide receiver is okay and if perhaps they could get a flag, but they couldn't coax one out of the official.
Well, Townsell just ran a little stop pattern there, and William Judson, number 49, turned to the inside of the field and was well off Townsell by the time the ball got there. And actually it was Judson, I think, that applied that pressure close to the out-of-bounds area.
O'Brien with a handoff this time to Hector. And Johnny Hector is to the 30-yard line, close to the first down. Brian Sauché on the tackle for the Dolphins.
Important for Joe Walton and his offense, not only to advance the ball, but to keep it out of the hands of Dan Marino in that offense. You're not going to keep the Dolphins offense quiet all day long.
It is a Jet first down as Walton sends the play in with Townsell. Ken O'Brien has spread the wealth around today, hitting backs out of the backfield, tight ends as well as wide receivers, and a contrast there because all of Dan Marino's passes have gone for wide receivers. O'Brien 9 of 10, and only 3 of those have been to wide receivers. Hector draws a crowd and still lugs it to the 35-yard line for a gain of 5. Barry Krause, the veteran linebacker in his 11th year out of Alabama, who was picked up from Cleveland earlier this year and played most of his career with the Colts, makes the stop for Miami.
Well, Mike Haight and Jeff Criswell made a little double team, and then you see Newbert trying to drive Green downfield, and Hector's able to find a little crack to gain the 5 yards. That Jet offensive front is coming off the ball nicely right now.
John Offerdahl got a piece of the tackle too, and there's Barry Krause, who was a teammate with Marty Lyons for the Crimson Tide of Alabama. In fact, they combined to save a national championship for the Tide against Penn State in the Sugar Bowl on a goal line stand by Alabama. Freeman McNeil on the carry, with Langford and Williams making the tackle short of first down yardage.
Well, the Dolphins just stuffed the line that time. They made a good job up there of keeping McNeil contained and forcing him to bounce outside to keep it to a short gain. Now, this is that 3rd down and short situation. The Jets have had 3rd and short, 4th and short twice now and have failed to make it.
They need just about a yard, actually a little over a yard. They must go just across the 40-yard line. Play action pass, and O'Neal is sacked. Hugh Green came from an outside linebacker spot to get his 6th sack of the year.
Well, you're asking a lot of your running back, Johnny Hector, to try and keep Hugh Green, one of the premier pass rushers, off Ken O'Brien. On the left side of the screen, at the top of the screen, you'll see Hector go down to try and cut Hugh Green, and Hugh Green just steps over him to get the sack.
First sack of the day for the Miami defense, and Prokof is on to punt. Schwades is deep for the Dolphins. Swadees gathers it in at the 24-yard line. And is spun down as he backtracks trying to get outside. Taken down at the 20 by Carl Howard on special teams for the New York Jets. 43-yard kick. We'll be back to the Meadowlands in a moment. First possession of the second half for Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. 9 times on first down they've handed the ball to Sammy Smith. This time Marino will pass. Under pressure he goes deep. Gathered in by Clayton. And he'll score. "78 yards on the bomb from Marino to Clayton."
Well, the Dolphins have tried Hasty's side. This time they go over to the cornerback side of Bobby Humphrey. And I tell you, that bomb sure did quiet this crowd down. We had some life going here. These fans are excited, but they're awful quiet now.
Stoyanovich for the extra point. And he bangs it through. So the Miami Dolphins now have scored on their last 3 possessions.
And who's to say that running on first down didn't help out this pass protection? Marino puts the ball right on target. Number 48, Bobby Humphrey's in pretty good shape, but the pass is just excellent right there.
Clayton with his 4th catch for 125 yards and that touchdown. Here's how he beat Bobby Humphrey.
Well, he's just going to separate right now. He's gone. He's not going to put any moves on him. He left Humphrey at the line of scrimmage, and then Marino's right there with the pass. Similar to a route that Clayton ran earlier on Hasty, but Hasty was able to keep with him stride for stride.
So the Miami Dolphins with a quick strike on the first play from scrimmage for them in the 3rd quarter. Clayton bundles up, but he's got to be plenty warm now after that 78-yard reception, his 4th of the afternoon. Well, Shula knew it was just a matter of time before his quarterback Marino got it cranked up. And as we pointed out at the beginning of the telecast, Marino has had his biggest days as a pro against the Jets. That is another touchdown pass against New York. He has passed for over 3,600 yards against the Jets, more than any other team he has faced. And it's Clayton's 6th touchdown of the season. So it's now 20-17. And the Dolphins will kick it off. Stoyanovich gets a hold on the kickoff and sends it deep. Taken by Epps. Epps tries to break it to the outside. Got a little running room. Had to push one of his own men out of the way. And is taken down at the 24-yard line. Greg Clark downfield for the Dolphins makes the tackle. There's Marino. 221 yards for him today. 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Well, he got a break on one play. McMillan certainly could have had the 3rd interception, but it'll be interesting now to see if Kenny O'Brien can continue to get good protection, or if that bomb is going to fire up this Dolphin defense, and maybe we'll start seeing the kind of pressure on the quarterback the Dolphins have been getting back there. Today, certainly, they're not getting the kind of pressure they'd like to on O'Brien.
Referee's huddling up. We don't exactly know why. After Dan Marino just tossed his 36th touchdown pass against the Jets.
Boy, some guys don't have that many in a career. He has 36
right.
Against the Jets.
Was that the beach ball signal again from Haggerty?
Oh, that was fast.
Ken O'Brien, he has hit 90% of his passes today. Let's see if he can get the Jet offense moving here. Jets punted on their first possession of the half. Flag down as Hector on the sweep to the left. Gathers about 5 yards. E.J. Jr., John Offerdahl, Lewis Oliver all getting a piece of the tackle.
Well, this is a classic example. I believe we're going to see the tight end of the Jets, probably Dressel.
Illegal motion. We're 84. Offense. Still first round.
You see what happened this time, folks. Dressel was in position, but he moved slightly before the snap. He wasn't set a full second before the snap of the ball. You have to be dead still 1 full second before the snap, and we have a couple of receivers right there in Joe Walton and Richie Kotite.
In fact, Joe Walton was a tight end for a while as Mickey Schuler, the Jets' leading receiver tight end, watches on the sideline with a cane for support. You say Joe Walton was a tight end in his professional career most of the time, except when he was a rookie back in 1957 when he was a cornerback with the Washington Redskins. The other corner, Don Shula. Fans boo the running play to Hector, who is stopped by Brian Sauché. Sauché's having a big day.
Fickle fans. I mean, it was first down and 15, so they run the ball once and they're booing. Joe Walton's got a tough job to please these fans here in New York. Of course, I don't blame the fans. You know, they've been patient. After last season, you'd expected a lot out of the Jets this year, and they got off to a horrendous start. And Coach Walton, of course, has reasons for their bad start. A lot of them being injured, but the fans don't buy it.
2nd and 13, and O'Brien will put it up. Incomplete, bounced off Hector and fell to the ground as O'Brien felt the pressure. John Offerdahl right in the middle of things for the Dolphins.
What made this a bad pass to me is the way O'Brien threw it, the heat, the strength, the intensity of it. The ball is going to go fast and hard, and the receiver has an awful tough time of trying to adjust. See how close that receiver is to him? For you to throw a ball that hard with the guy only 5 or 6 paces from you, it better sure be on target and not behind him.
So now O'Brien faces a 3rd and 13 from his own 21-yard line. What was once a 17-point Jet lead is down to 3. O'Brien steps up and delivers deep, too long for Epps, who had come free. And O'Brien missed him. He had a step on his man. Langford and Oliver were trying to get him, but Epps was all alone.
Well, when your quarterback's hot, your offense is going to move. We've seen 2 plays in a row now where 2 receivers were open and Ken O'Brien was just a shade off. Epps just splits the right side of this zone, and look how far the ball goes over his head. It's not really even close.
4th down, and the Jets will punt. Prokoff is on to kick, and Schwades is deep for the Dolphins. Schwades stands at his own 45.
Oh, you see that son of a bitch?
Good high kick. Schwades calls for a fair catch, backpedals and makes it. Back at his 33-yard line, a 47-yard punt. And the Dolphins, who have scored the last 3 times they've had the ball, take over. Glenn Adamo and director J.D. Hansen, Tom Hammond and Joe Namath with you as you look at some other scores. Jim Kelly has 3 touchdown passes in that 27-0 Buffalo lead. Philadelphia finally on the board with a field goal. Jim Harbaugh's had a big day for the Bears in Pittsburgh. Minnesota and Detroit comfortably in front. Here at the Meadowlands, Sammy Smith with a first down run. That's the 10th first down run he's made today. And he doesn't get much. The Jets ready for it. Specifically, Troy Benson and Kyle Clifton, the inside backers.
Well, that's it, Tom. The offensive front couldn't get out there to block Clifton or Troy that time, and they came clean and were able to stop the play for no gain.
Was that a pumpkin or a beach ball?
It's a pumpkin beach ball.
Thank you. Well, that's been driving Pat Haggerty crazy all day, hasn't it? From the shotgun, Marino on a 2nd and 9. His pass to Banks, wide open for the first down. Fred Banks spotted the first down marker, went a yard behind, tiptoed out of bounds for the first down catch.
Marino's timing is excellent here. Banks is not even turned around when Dan Marino releases the ball. It gets there just at the right time. Hasty could not stop this play. Good pass protection, good timing. Banks turns around, and now you see Hasty close on it.
Marino, with 2 touchdown passes today, has 211 for his career and takes over sole possession in 11th place all-time in the NFL. Pass complete to Nu'ufa'aola, the former Jet, who catches it for an 8-yard gain before he's stopped by Troy Benson. Marino went down again with a smile on his face.
Well, he's saying hello to those guys. You know, he doesn't get to see them that often. The Jets haven't been back there very much, so Mercereau making a visit then.
I asked him yesterday what he remembered about this game. 521 yards, second best ever, and he said what he remembered were those 5 interceptions.
Did they win that game?
They lost it.
Well, that's probably it.
2nd and 2. Smith cuts up. He's got the first down. Nice run by the rookie there. Jeff Loggeman, another rookie, makes the stop for the New York Jets. Sammy Smith was plagued by injury as a senior in college at Florida State, but is the all-time 3rd leading FSU rusher.
Smith wanted to go outside here, but he cuts back because Hasty may look like he's missing the tackle there, but Hasty had that outside responsibility and needed to cut him back to get a little help from the rest of his defensive buddies.
He said he thought it would take the rest of the season, Smith did, before he learned all the offense of the Dolphins, but says he's getting better each week. Here he is again, and that's just instinct right there as he picks his way forward across the 40 and inside it down to about the 37-yard line of the Jets. Kyle Clifton makes the tackle again for New York.
You know, Smith is learning the offense. Sure, he knows the names of the plays, the X's and O's, but what he is getting more familiar with is the techniques and the blocking schemes that his linemen use up front. He's learning when to make those breaks, when to jump in that hole, and it needs repetition to get well-oiled and work with this offensive line.
Marino tried to pass the ball to Smith, and a miscommunication there as it sailed way over the head of Smith and incomplete.
Bad looking play for Miami that time. I mean, Smith wasn't turned around. The ball was over his head and out there, and I wonder where Cliff Stout got those pants. Cliff Stout is over there on the sideline with a pair of pants that it looks like he painted the garage with.
Camouflage. He didn't want to be spotted today as he's one of the inactive players of the Dolphins. Stout was trying to hurry up practice yesterday here at the Meadowlands so he could get over to the hockey game next door where the New Jersey Devils are playing the Philadelphia Flyers. 3rd and 6 for Miami. Shotgun formation. Double wide receivers either side. Quick pass. Jensen has it short of the first down. John Booty made sure Jensen was unable to get to the first down marker. And it'll bring up a 4th down situation for the Dolphins.
Well, the Jets send Clifton in the middle, 59. They rush 5 defensive people, so Marino has to unload it quickly. Booty smartly reads it and makes the tackle short of the first down. A good defensive scheme by the Jets.
Well, Pete Stoyanovich on the field again. This one will be a 52-yard attempt, piece of cake. Earlier, he hit a 59-yarder, longest in the NFL this season. Got a little wind favoring him here. 52-yard attempt. How do you figure? Hit from 59, miss from 52, and before that from 34. Well, I guess rookies are inconsistent. The score remains the same. The Jets continue to lead it. It's 20-17, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jets call 89 official yearbook.
6 minutes and 41 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The New York Jets with the ball and the lead. They have a first down at their own 35-yard line. Townsell, Burkett, and Epps, 3 wide receivers for the Jets. The Dolphins have their dime package. Freeman McNeil picks his way forward for 2 or 3 yards.
I'm a little surprised at that Dolphin defensive philosophy right now, or their scheme. They surprised me that time and took Hugh Green off the field along with E.J. Jr. and inserted 2 defensive backs. They had 6 defensive backs, and this was on first down. So I don't think they're worrying much about that Jet running game. Do you? I mean, you play 6 DBs.
Yeah. They're letting Brian Sauché handle it. He's done a good job against the run today, the Pro Bowl nose tackle of the Dolphins. 2nd down. 6 yards to go after the 4-yard McNeil run. Johnny Hector, he dives forward and I think has the first down across the 45-yard line. good effort by Johnny Hector, who's been a workhorse for the Jets today.
But you know, these Jets are going to keep sticking at him if they keep those 6 defensive backs in there. I would certainly. You take Hugh Green out of there and E.J. Jr., and your run defense has to suffer some, and I'd expect Joe Walton to keep sticking at it.
Jr. and Green are out on the field. You see Aarons, who is out there as well. Tom Olivadotti, defensive coach of the Dolphins, electing to go with his pass coverage defense. First down, New York at its own 45. O'Brien, receiver fell down. Got his legs tangled up, it appeared. Rodney Thomas and JoJo Townsell got all tangled up. Both went down, and there are no flags.
Well, you'd have to say that Townsell had good coverage put on him that time by Rodney Thomas. You didn't see any flags. We can see maybe on the left side of your screen, you might just see the end of it where they're falling down. There you see they're getting their feet tangled right there at the 40-yard marker, and it was a near interception. Of course, if Townsell doesn't fall, it's a completion.
Ken O'Brien had hit 9 of his first 10 passes, but has missed his last 3 in a row. This is 2nd and 10. Hector. And he's thrown back, no gain.
You see, why challenge 6 defensive backs on first down when you have some kind of a running game going against a team that really hasn't been a great defense against the run? The Jets chose to throw on first down 2 plays ago against 6 defensive backs. Incomplete. They come back with a 2nd and long and now a 3rd and long. I can't understand why they wouldn't have kept running the ball while they had those 6 defensive backs in there on first down and saying, hey, you prove to me that you can stop me with those DBs instead of the linebackers.
So the chess game continues now. The Dolphins come with 7 defensive backs, and the Jets have 4 wide receivers in. O'Brien's pass too tall, too wide, I should say, for Burkett. O'Brien wants the flag and didn't get it. His pass just out of the reach of Chris Burkett, and the Jets will have to punt. There's Judson, who is covering for the Dolphins. Watch it again.
On the left side of the screen, you may see some contact. That's what O'Brien is talking about, some contact, but I didn't see it until it was a little bit late. The ball appeared to be too far out in front of Burkett for him to handle it.
So Prokop is on to punt as O'Brien goes to the sideline. And Schwades back at his own 20. There's Prokop. Had a good day punting. Schwades from the 14. Nothing there. Good coverage again with the Jets. Ken Rose led the charge for New York. A 40-yard kick, and Schwades only got 2 yards on the return. Timeout with 4:19 left in the 3rd quarter. The Jets still up by 3. Their lead over the Dolphins now 20-17. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath with you as the Dolphins put the ball in play from their own 17-yard line with a first down. Marino's pass batted down and incomplete. That was Ron Stallworth, 6'5", 262 pounds, the rookie 4th-round draft choice out of Auburn, that batted the ball down intended for Fred Banks.
Well, he hasn't been on the field a lot today, but he's made some big plays. He harassed Marino earlier in the 2nd quarter, and here on the right side of your screen, 96 gets his left arm up and bats that ball down. Stallworth, just a rookie out of Auburn, is really giving the Jets some hope as far as the pass rush goes.
Brown, Schwades, Clayton, and Banks in for the Dolphins, who handed Jensen. And Jensen is to the 30-yard line with a first down as they run from the shotgun for 13 yards.
Well, you won't see that much, Jensen taking a handoff and going up there. They usually pass out of that formation, but just to keep the defenses honest, they like to give the ball to Jensen on a little draw play now and then, and you see the result. The Jets were certainly expecting pass the last play.
Same formation. This time a pass. Marino short of his intended receiver, Andre Brown. We haven't seen much of Mark Duper. He played early in the game, and to the best of my recollection, Joe hasn't been in since early in the contest.
No, he has a bad ankle that they're not happy with yet, but Marino that time made his mind up early where he's going to go over to Brown, and Bobby Humphrey just was all over him. Excellent coverage that time, and had Marino had the ball on target, we'd have seen an interception.
So even the great ones sometimes make up their mind beforehand.
That's right.
Second down play for the Dolphins. Lorenzo Hampton to the 35, a 4-yard gain for Hampton, who carries for the first time today. Just activated off injured reserve this week after having an arthroscope on an ankle back in September. That's just his 10th carry of the year. He had been the #1 rusher for the Dolphins in 1988. Hampton leaving the game now as Jensen comes back in. 23 passing touchdowns, including the 2 by Marino today, allowed by the Jet secondary. Shotgun, double wides to either side. Marino across the middle. It's complete. Scott Schwade's in a foot race. Touchdown. Penalty markers down in the end zone. Schwade celebrates a 65-yard touchdown reception from Dan Marino.
Schwade's burns the Jets. They came with 5 rushers that time.
Touchdown. Personal foul. Jets. We were penalized on the kickoff. 15 yards. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, that's a shame. John Booty of the Jets is just a little over aggressive here. Upset that they scored a touchdown. So late, very late, he pushes Schwade's down. Here you see on the outside of safety blitz now. Schwade's just makes the catch, and at the end of the play, you'll see 42, John Booty, come in here and push him down. And I mean, he's in the end zone, and this puts the Jets in a bind because they're not going to get good field position unless they have a great run back on this kickoff.
The extra point is good. And Ralph Hawkins, the defensive coordinator of the Jets, with his heart in his throat as Schwade set sail downfield.
Oh, it's awful. He's probably wondering where the defender was, but we saw one of the safeties for the Jets try to break up that pass before it got to Schwade's, and when he left Schwade's, that left the Jets without a man on Schwade's. That's why the play went so long and so far for the touchdown.
And Scott Schwade's had only 1 reception of this season coming into today's game. He's caught 3 now for 108 yards, including that 65-yard touchdown grab. Well, Walton had the lead early, and now his fortune sinking. He falls behind for the first time, 24-20. 15 years ago, Joe, you were on a Jet team that began with a 1-7 record and then won their last 6. Can these Jets turn it around in similar fashion?
Well, they have the quarterback to do it, giving him the time. I still think Ken O'Brien, when he's right, is one of the best in the league. I don't think these Jets can turn it around. No, they're not making enough plays offensively, defensively by the individuals to win. And you need a lot of luck in that kind of a streak, too. I think the Jets are having a tough time to win the remainder of their games. They're going to have a darn tough time coming back today, Tom.
Well, the Miami Dolphins have scored 21 unanswered points to take the lead for the first time. Stoyanovich ready to kick off. Epps and Townsend are deep. Short kick. This is Epps. Not much there. Good coverage for the Dolphins.
Smart kick. It's a smart kick by the Dolphins. All they did was kick it high that time and let his defense. They only had to go from the 50-yard line. That's why they corralled him inside the 15.
So just 11 plays in the second half for the Jets, who had the benefit of great field position in the first half, and just the opposite here in the second half. 3 possessions and 3 punts. Denver continuing to lead, and bad news for Dolphin fans as the Bills appear to be on their way to a victory, which means the best Miami can hope for is to win here and remain a game back. O'Brien across the middle, intercepted. Judson finally tackled from behind by Keith Newbert as William Judson on the deflected pass gets the interception, his 23rd for the Miami Dolphins.
Well, Chris Burkett, the receiver for the Jets, should have caught the ball. It was actually deflected through his hands, or he just tipped it up in the air. He was open, and the ball goes flying in the air, and Judson says, "Thank you very much." Joe Walton says, "What have you got to do, huh?" Good pass protection, a good pass by Ken O'Brien. Burkett gets both hands on the ball, but fails to hold on to it.
And so Judson right there to take the deflected pass. And once again, the Dolphins, who have scored 21 answered points, threatening to add to that total. First down pass. Marino throws it behind Lorenzo Hampton, his intended receiver. Kyle Clifton was covering Hampton.
Yeah, Clifton was behind him, though, in the chase position. And Marino was a little upset because he threw a bad pass that time. He threw it behind Hampton.
50% on the day for Marino, over 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes for him. Marino second in NFL history with that stat, and adding to his impressive passing totals, one of the best ever in the National Football League. Now has had 3 or more touchdown passes in 9 of the last 12 games against the Jets. Looking for one more. Banks out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Banks beat Bobby Humphrey, hauled it in for 30 yards, and the Dolphins knocking on the Jet goal again.
Well, earlier we mentioned that the Dolphins hadn't been stretching the field, but Marino said that's because the coverages have been laying way off. Well, the Jets are not laying off, and I don't know whether that left leg came down inbounds or not. Both feet have to be inbounds. I'd like to get another look at that one. Let's keep an eye on his left foot as it comes down, because the right foot is certainly inbounds right now. Now, where's the left one come down? Is it? Oh, that's close. How close can you get?
That's what the replay booth is saying right now as they take a look at it. Here's the reverse angle look on Banks' fancy footwork. That's the replay booth. Fancy footwork by Banks. Was it good enough?
Or lack of fancy footwork. We'll see if that left toe touches the ground. Now, here's one foot down. He needs another one down inbounds.
Yep, I see some green in there.
That's as close. You see green?
Reset it to 13 seconds. 13 seconds on the 45-second clock.
Play stands. In fact, they say he was forced out before he had a chance to come down. I thought I saw some green between that foot and the sideline. You question me on that?
Thank you.
Yes, I do.
In any event, the Dolphins have it first and goal at the 2-yard line of the Jets. Sammy Smith and Nu'u Fa'aola are the running backs in the I formation. Smith is the tailback.
490, 490.
Sammy Smith, touchdown. First touchdown of the season for the rookie out of Florida State. Sammy Smith carries it over, and the Dolphins extend their lead.
You don't have to be a #1 draft choice to score with blocking like that. Boy, they sealed off that inside, and then Nu'u Fa'aola kicked out on the outside, and Smith just waltzed into the end zone. Yes, what happened there? That's what Ralph Hawkins wants to know, the defensive coordinator.
He's seen his defense give up now, on the verge of being 28 unanswered points if this placement is good, and it is. 28 straight points by the Dolphin offense. And with 2:12 left in the third quarter, the Dolphins on the verge of making it a rout. It's now 31-20.
We mentioned the lead block earlier, number 34, Nu'u Fa'aola, the ex-Jet. Here he kicks out at number 25, Radichowski, to safety. Now, Radichowski has to take outside position first, but the rest of the Dolphins walled off the inside. The pursuit of the Jets couldn't get there until it was too late. Here we see another look at it, and you'll see Bobby Humphrey, 48, and Kyle Clifton, 59, just getting over there way too late.
And there's Fa'aola, the former Jet, who did a good job, just like a fullback should, of making a lead block on the touchdown play.
Hey, he said he liked it while he was here with the Jets. Has some dear friends here, but being from Hawaii, he kind of has taken a liking to that southern Florida temperature. You know, reminds of home a little bit.
All right, the Jets now have seen the Dolphins score 28 in a row. Ken O'Brien has missed his last 5 passes. What must the Jets do to rally?
Well, they're going to have good pass protection, and they're going to have to start completing some passes, because I can't see them advancing the ball consistently on the ground unless the Dolphins come out with that 6 defensive back look. The Jets should run the ball.
Here's the kickoff. And the return made by Humphrey before Hobley stops him for Miami. Well, remember, these two teams, the last 7 times they've played, have averaged a combined 71 points. So only 51 today, and still more to come if form holds. In fact, in the earlier meeting down at Joe Robbie Stadium, the Jets scored 21 points in the 4th quarter to pull out the victory.
Oh, they're explosive. If this man right here, Ken O'Brien, can get hot with some pass protection, they can put the numbers up. Right now, the Dolphins have their regular defense in there. That's Tony Eason, the newly acquired quarterbacks the Jets got from the New England Patriots.
Just reported this week and not eligible to play today on the inactive list. O'Brien's pass to Townsend, close to a first down, right at 10 yards, and maybe enough for the first down yardage. Hugh Green was covering him. There's Tony Eason, who didn't report after being claimed on waivers by the Jets because he said he didn't want to compete with his good friend Ken O'Brien, but changed his mind and reported to the Jets camp this week. How long is it going to take him to be familiar enough with the offense that he can contribute?
Well, he can run some of the plays right now. They have kind of a package for Eason, but I can't see Eason winning this job that Ken O'Brien has.
Bryan with a first down pass complete to Al Toon. Toon hasn't seen much action today with those sprained ankles. That's his first catch. They tell us his left ankle sprain is worse than the right. First reception today for Al Toon.
You see, given the opportunity to play, I'm talking about Eason right now, he still has to deal with an offense that's not getting consistent blocking up front from its line, a defense that's been giving up big plays. So Tony Eason, whom I think is a quality quarterback, you go back to the Super Bowl game against the Bears, he had a bad day. Things got so bad up there in New England, he and Raymond Berry wouldn't even talk. His team played poorly. He had injuries. I still think he's a quality quarterback, but he's not going to show it this season.
Pass complete to Newbert, the tight end. Thrown back. He'll be close, though, on forward progress to a first down as E.J. Jr. throws him back. Keith Newbert is an interesting story. Back in his college days, he was a basketball player at Nebraska who set a Nebraska record by fouling out of 15 consecutive games. One of the original hatchet men. If you carry his basketball career back a step further to high school, he and John Offerdahl of the Dolphins were the starting forwards on a high school team in Wisconsin. How would you like to face that group?
No way. Only with pads on.
They probably had more fouls than points in those days.
Yeah, they kept sack stats instead of rebound stats.
Newbert's catch was enough for a first down. And now the Jets have called a timeout. Apparently O'Brien was running out of time, or perhaps didn't have the formation he wanted. And the Jets are forced to expend a timeout. It comes with 21 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Now that's Bobby Hammond there, the running back coach, along with Richie Kotite, trying to give O'Brien some advice on what to run. Hey, they get the pass protection up there. They can run any pass plays they want. Right now, the Dolphins have their regular defense in there, and so to me it would be the time to keep throwing the ball as long as AJ Jr. Is that right? As long as EJ Jr. is in the game in green, I wouldn't try to run the ball. I'd continue to try and pass it on him.
Here's the menu for next Sunday. It starts with an appetizer at 12:30 on NFL Live. The main course will see Miami against Dallas, Kansas City at Cleveland, or Buffalo at New England, followed up by a delicious dessert of a doubleheader game. Johnny Hector on a carry for the Jets here. One of the controversial plays of this game that will be dissected was when the Jets had a chance to score, and O'Brien lets up as he comes close to the goal line here on a scramble in the first half. The Jets had to settle for a field goal on this possession as O'Brien didn't get in, and that could be very important as we come down the stretch in this one. That's the end of the third quarter at the Meadowlands with the Dolphins leading by 11. Joe Walton facing the Joe must go sentiment prevalent in these days. There's one of the signs at the stadium today. But one of the reasons, as you pointed out earlier, Joe, a lot of injuries on this Jet team. In fact, today, without Wesley Walker, their outstanding receiver, who had scored 17 career touchdowns against the Dolphins. That has to be a key loss just in today's game. 2nd and 6 from the 42-yard line for the Jets. O'Brien gets rid of it to Hector, and Hector's got a first down. No, excuse me, Vick. Roger Vick into Dolphin territory with a first down at the Miami 45-yard line. Chased down by Judson and Krause. Vick, who scored a touchdown earlier with that first down reception. There are your stats through 3 quarters, and in that third quarter alone, Miami had 224 yards of offense to only 47 for the Jets.
Tell you, when you make those long gainers go for touchdowns, you don't have to have a big number in time of possession.
Ken O'Brien with a first down. Play action pass. Steps into the pocket and delivers it. Flag down. It could be interference. Al Toon was sandwiched by Judson and Oliver, and perhaps the defenders got there too soon.
Well, I don't know. They threw that flag in the middle of the field. I didn't see anybody around there. Excellent blocking back there for O'Brien, but I don't know. We're only guessing on what the penalty would be. There's Toon going up, and he doesn't seem to be interfered with.
It's going to be a hold.
Holding defense number 58.
A hold against the Dolphins' Barry Krause. So the Dolphins' Krause with a critical penalty there, a holding call. Remember again in the first meeting, a 40-33 Jet victory over Shula's Dolphins. New York scored 21 fourth quarter points as the Dolphin defense just caved in. First down now from the Dolphin 40. O'Brien complete. Burkett with his first catch of the day. Chris Burkett with 10 yards, close to a first down. Paul Langford chases him out of bounds. It'll depend on the spot of the football. Very close to first down yardage. It is enough. First down Jets on Burkett's first grab of the day.
Good pass protection once again for O'Brien. Burkett just broke outside in the zone coverage, and no one picked him up. Langford was well off in his zone area. That's the kind of protection you keep giving O'Brien, and Coach Shula's going to have some more nightmares in this fourth quarter.
There's that great disparity in yards for the third quarter, much in favor of the Dolphins, who forged from behind to take the lead. O'Brien scrambling, bearing down on it, he unloads it. Incomplete. Good presence of mind by Ken O'Brien. He paid the penalty for it, but he did get rid of the football. So Shea and Junior were bearing down on him in a hurry.
Yes, but I don't see an offensive receiver. Didn't see a receiver in the area. Sweeney was the closest man to the ball, number 53, and the Dolphins wanted grounding. O'Brien plenty of time, but there's excellent coverage downfield. And then O'Brien just, well, maybe Hector was the man he was trying to get the ball to.
Close enough. 8th play of the drive coming up. It started back at the 16-yard line of New York, and they need to get some points. They trail 31-20. Running play, Hector. He's to the 25-yard line and then thrown back by the Miami defense. Sauché leading the charge again. I'm telling you, Brian Sauché has had a ton of tackles today. He came in as the second leading sacker on the team. The first Miami Pro Bowl defensive lineman since 1984 when he was selected to play last year. Former all-rookie performer and a member of that Dolphin sack exchange. 29 of them. 7 tackles and 1 assist for Sauché this afternoon. O'Brien for the end zone. No good. Burkett couldn't stay in bounds.
Oh, boy, that's the kind of play that O'Brien hates to have. These fans that get on him, the coaches that get on him, because Burkett is open back there waiting in the end zone. He loses the defensive back, and O'Brien has all day to find him. Lewis Oliver, 25, that was to the right of the screen, and Judson is out of position, really. Had the ball been on money, had the ball been on target, could have been 6.
Instead, it'll be 4th down and 5, and the Jets are going to go for it. They went on a 4th and 1 early in the game in the first quarter and didn't make it. Here it's 4th and 5. Townsend, Toon, and Epps at wide receiver. O'Brien's pass complete. Toon has the first down. William Judson drags down Al Toon from behind, but it's a Jet first down.
Clutch pass by O'Brien and a clutch catch by their best offensive player, Al Toon. Didn't practice all week, has 2 bad sprained ankles, yet he makes his way right to left across your screen, outruns Judson, and makes the catch. Al Toon is not feeling well, folks. Those ankles hurt him, but he's giving it his all.
On 4th and 5, Walton's Jets get 13 yards and a first down. The ball at the Dolphin 12. 11th play of the drive that started at the New York 16. O'Brien gets away to the 10. Lewis Oliver, the free safety, tackling O'Brien, who scrambled and somehow got away from the rush. And Oliver is shaken up. Joe, he's the man that bragged in a newspaper story that he likes to not only make hard tackles, the big hits, but he likes to knock them out. He's the one hurt there.
Yeah, he wants to knock them out 10 or 20 minutes. I saw that quote, and I figured you had to be either a rookie to say that or not very smart. Once again, O'Brien gets good pass protection here, but there is good coverage downfield, close to in the grass, but no way. And let's see if we can find out. Well, we didn't see about Oliver.
Well, we see Hector, though, fighting his way inside the 5. Lifford Hobley has replaced the injured Lewis Oliver. Let's go back to the end of that scramble by O'Brien again.
Well, Oliver's going to load up and try to get O'Brien and hurt him, or at least put a good lick on him, but I couldn't tell what happened with Oliver that time.
Did you see O'Brien kind of tossed the football at him, too?
Yeah, but when O'Brien saw him going in, that time O'Brien was trying to run in the end zone. He didn't throw the football or his body. He kind of hesitated just enough for Oliver to make the big hit and keep him out of the end zone.
We've got a 3rd and 1 coming up. The Jets can get a first down without scoring. 3 tight ends, Newbert, Werner, and Dressel. The give is to Hector, tripped up and tackled for a loss, back to the 5. John Offerdahl, the Pro Bowl linebacker, making a key play for the Dolphin defense.
Offerdahl got some help from E.J. Jr. that time as well. There was good penetration into the Jets' backfield. Here they're going to go for the field goal, it appears, Tom. I don't think the fans like it very much.
Don't think.
Well, they're down by 11. They're still going to need 2 scores after this.
Well, they would have had a 4th and 3. This could be a fake. Let's watch it. Leahy. It's a 22-yard attempt, and it is up and through. So the Jets kick a 22-yard field goal, and there are some Jet points drawing boos from the home crowd. 10:02 left in the game, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
The greatest.
Walton on 4th and 3 elects to go for the chip shot field goal. And here's what the crowd thought of it. The chant of Joe must go was ringing through the stadium while you were away. Kickoff taken by Hampton of the Dolphins. And Lorenzo Hampton to the 20 before he's thrown back. Leading the charge, Ken Rose of the Jets.
You know, now, Tom, is the time of the game that we're going to see if that Miami running game has improved. This is exactly what Coach Schuller was talking about, and taking the pressure off Dan Marino, controlling the ball with Sammy Smith. whenever they're late in the fourth quarter. They want to keep the ball away from the other team. They have 11-point lead. No need to pass the ball if Sammy Smith and that offensive line can get it done.
What about the decision to go for the field goal the last time there by the Jets?
I want to stay out of that one, buddy. They got 3 points on the board, but, you know, they didn't make any first down short yardage plays earlier, so I guess they gave up on it.
Sammy Smith on the carry for the Dolphins. Let's check in with some other games in progress. Most of them moving now to the fourth quarter. And Buffalo well on its way to a victory. They'll stay in first place in the AFC East. Be a big win for the Redskins if they can win at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Yeah, the Jets got a break that time. Sammy Smith ran out of bounds and stopped the clock. They need all the time they can. And speaking of the Jets, of course, to be able to come back, and Smith just helped them a bit.
Dolphins have 73 yards rushing in the game. Prior to this handoff to Smith, who breaks it big to the outside.
Sammy Smith,
Smith with a first down carry for the Dolphins. That's what Coach Shula is looking for, as the rookie from Florida State rambles on the left side for a Dolphin first down, as Shula plays a little ball control.
Yeah, and he doesn't care if Sammy Smith wants to run out of bounds. That's all right. You keep getting first downs for us, Sammy. You can run out of bounds.
"16 carries, 64 yards for the Dolphin running back. It would be real news if he would get over 100. I don't know when the last time a Dolphin running back has had back-to-back 100-yard games. Smith again lost a yard that time, so subtract a yard from that total. Clifton and Radachowski combining on the hit for the Jets.
A good fill that time by Kyle Clifton. Sammy Smith had a good lead block from Foster that time, but Clifton slipped right in behind Foster to meet Smith at the line of scrimmage.
There's Clifton, who is in his 6th year out of TCU. Top tackler last year and again this year. Had 10 or more tackles 10 times last year. 10 more tackles in the game. Marino's pass to Hampton. And Hampton has it for another Dolphin first down into Jet territory to the 48-yard line, where MacArthur and Clifton converge on him. It's been 1982 when Andra Franklin had back-to-back 100-yard rushing games for the Dolphins. So Smith still needs about 30 plus to reach that mark. But it's been since '82 since a Dolphin running back had back-to-back 100-yard games.
And now is the time to keep it on the ground. The Dolphins should continue to run that clock.
It shows 8 minutes, 20 seconds and counting. Smith met at the pass and somehow gets away, but they blew the play dead. Scott Mercereau arrived simultaneous with the football and stood Sammy Smith up.
Good play by Mercereau, who was really the brute of a lot of jokes out there this week. His body fat tested a little higher, and the equipment manager, Billy Hampton Jr., look at that tackle. That is a perfect form tackle with the exception of wrapping up the ball carrier. Anyway, assistant equipment manager Billy Hampton Jr. stuffed his shirt kind of like a Santa Claus and went out there, and they all got on Mercereau a bit. With play like that, they won't be making any jokes about him.
Mercereau was the second to Timmy Cofield in the NFL Strongest Man competition. Renzo Hampton for the Dolphins takes it back to the 48-yard line, where it will be 3rd and long coming up for Miami.
I was just watching Marino out in the field, and he was warming up as though he were throwing a football. He didn't have one in his hand there, and he hasn't thrown for a while now. He did complete one to Davenport recently, but shows me Marino's a little bit cold out there.
Sequels is the backup quarterback, and Marino is the #1 man, of course. The backups don't get much action if you play for the Dolphins. Marino seldom sacked with that quick release. That pass is tipped and almost intercepted. Andre Brown was the closest Dolphin to it. Marvin Washington was the man that tipped it as it left Marino's hand. The rookie out of Idaho.
Well, Marino has a chance this time to get it to Andre Brown, but number 97 gets that big left arm up there and tips the ball. An outstanding play by Washington. The kind of plays individuals have to make for the team to perform well. And the Jets need more of that big individual effort.
Second punt of the day by Reggie Roby. Townsell is deep for the Jets. Roby's boot. Townsell calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 15-yard line. So the Jets are 85 yards away from the goal with 7:01 left in the game, and the Dolphins up by 8. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath at the Meadowlands, where the wind continues to whip away atop the stadium. 76,000 on hand, and the Jets once again for the second drive start at their own 16. O'Brien completes a pass to Altoon, and he's got a Jet first down close to the 30-yard line. Krause and Judson converge on Altoon, who has become a factor in the passing game for the Jets here late in the contest.
Well, Altoon really helps Ken O'Brien a great deal. That time Altoon adjusted his pattern. He went down to the inside, but Barry Krause was inside, so Toon stopped, set back up to the outside, found the open spot for O'Brien to get it to him.
Jets need 2 scores. They trail by 8, less than 6.5 minutes remaining. Play action. O'Brien completes it short to Newbert, and Newbert has, I believe, enough for a first down. It'll be close. E.J. Jr. stopped him, and maybe just a foot short. It'll depend on the placement of the football, and it's close enough that they'll stop the clock to measure. Altoon over there ready to come in with the play. Stretch the chains out meantime. And it is enough for a first down. So Newbert has just enough for a Jet first down, and the drive continues.
They have to keep it in the air, too, because there's 6 minutes and 6 seconds left, and the Jets need 2 scores to get ahead.
That includes 1 sack for the Dolphins today. O'Brien trying to direct the Jets into the end zone. His pass is complete. Townsell out of bounds deep in the Dolphin territory at the 27-yard line. Jarvis Williams ran him out, but a 34-yard strike. O'Brien to Townsell.
Well, you just couldn't put a ball in a better place than where O'Brien throws this one. Good pass protection up front again, and he puts that ball on the outside where Townsell can stretch out and get it. Look at this. Beautiful catch by JoJo, and you kind of think that had he maintained his balance, he'd have gotten some more yardage out of that.
Yeah, he was stumbling a little bit, and his momentum carried him out of bounds, or he could have had more. As it is, a first down for the Jets at the 26 of the Dolphins. O'Brien looks for the end zone, lets it go. Nobody there. All right now, let's check in with Bob Costas for an update at NFL Live. Steve Pelleur has been a good addition for the Chiefs, who suffered from some poor quarterback play early in the year, and with the league's leading rusher Christian Okoye injured today, Pelleur doing a job. Here's a pass. O'Brien to Werner, the tight end, and he's got a Jet first down inside the 15-yard line. John Offerdahl made the saving tackle, and O'Brien's ready to go again.
These young Jet tight ends only lack experience. These guys can catch the ball and run some pretty good patterns.
O'Brien loads it up again, and this one no good. Out of the reach of Newbert, with Barry Krause covering him.
Oh, that's the one that the Jets wish they could do over again, because Newbert did have Krause on him. Krause is an excellent run defender, but not the best pass defender. Newbert had a step or two, but O'Brien just missed him again.
31-23, the Jets trailing with 5:13 left. Second down and 10. The ball at the 14-yard line of Miami. The Jets have already used one of the timeouts. Protection breaks down, and O'Brien is down. Second sack of the day for the Dolphins. Offerdahl and Cross got him to the turf. the Jets will use their second timeout after O'Brien was sacked. They'll spot the football all the way back to the 23-yard line.
A delayed blitz by Offerdahl. They waited until the Jet blockers had committed, and then Offerdahl just ran around the center, Sweeney, who was occupied with Sauché.
All right, the Jets discussing a 3rd and 19 coming up. They trail by 8. Now that Pallure pass tying the game in Kansas City as the Chiefs try to knock off the division-leading Broncos. Washington still with the lead at Philadelphia. There's our first final of the day. The Bears blanking the Steelers at Three Rivers. Here it's 31-23 Dolphins. 3rd and 19 for the Jets. Intercepted by Thomas of the Dolphins. Rob Thomas cut right in front of JoJo Townsell to pick off the O'Brien pass and stop the Jets' threat.
Good play by Rodney Thomas. Red O'Brien all the way. The ball was slightly behind Townsell. Number 24 in the middle of your screen right there. Now he's going to break underneath here and pick it off. He'll cut right in front of Townsell. You see how he broke on the ball? Good reaction that time.
Rodney Thomas has 2 interceptions this season. Both have come against Ken O'Brien and the Jets. Well, the fans start to head for the exits now as the Jets turn it over for the second time. The Dolphins, despite the 3 turnovers, with a 31-23 lead. Sammy Smith carries. And the Jets down to only 1 timeout. They need 2 scores and the clock working against them as it ticks away from 4:45. There are the fans who have voiced their displeasure at times today and now jam the aisles on the way out.
Well, I can't blame them for voicing their displeasure. The Jets had last season, they finished by beating the Giants, a team that needed a win in the last game of the season. They had a good year for a young team, and then with all the high expectations coming into this season, they start off poorly and have gone downhill since, and that's the main reason that the Joe Must Go signs are hanging all over or being shown here today.
And the Miami Dolphins completing a pass here for a first down to Jensen. The Dolphins finished a poor season last year and had come on to be a playoff contender in 1989. And as you know, if you watched NFL Live today, and as we mentioned a couple of times during the game, the Jets, I should say the Dolphins, have an easy schedule remaining. In fact, if you base it on the won-loss percentage of their remaining opponents, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL coming up. They'll be at Dallas a week from today, and then Pittsburgh at Kansas City, New England at Indianapolis, and then on Christmas Eve host the Chiefs in the final game of the season. And again, based on win percentage, that's the weakest remaining schedule in the NFL.
Well, they may not catch Buffalo, but that wild card shot is still there.
Lorenzo Hampton to the 30-yard line. So spirits high on the Dolphins side of the field. Across the way, Ken O'Brien and the Jets, who at one time had a 20-3 lead, see their hopes for turning their season around fading into the dusk here at the Meadowlands. They had beaten New England on the road last year and had hoped to have a win and a sweep of the Dolphins today to set things going in the opposite direction, and apparently it will not happen. We remind you this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. This game the property of the National Football League, the New York Jets and Miami Dolphins, all rights reserved. Faaola on a carry for the Dolphins and Stallworth with the Jet stop. And the clock now down to 2 minutes 20 seconds.
Yes, and I don't think the Dolphins will run a play before the 2-minute warning. The Jets with 1 timeout left is not choosing to stop the clock, so the Dolphins have just run right down to 2 minutes.
Mark Dennis is normally a tackle in playing tight end now as the Dolphins look to just pound away at the clock.
You know, this is remarkable. The Jets just called timeout. They let 12 to 14 seconds run off the clock before they decided that they should call timeout.
And
now,
That's coaching, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where it starts. That's where it starts.
Last time out for the Jets. 2:03 on the clock. Well, coming up next week, doubleheader week here at NBC. The gang at NFL Live will start things off for you at 12:30. Then you see Miami will be at Dallas, Kansas City at Cleveland, Buffalo at New England. Then the second game of the doubleheader, most of you will see Seattle against the Giants and the Raiders against Houston. We understand O.J. Simpson's going to play golf against Lawrence Taylor this week, and he'll have a report next week on NFL Live. And
I know there'll be a lot of 4 going on out there.
Balls will be spraying all over the course, won't they? I might have you as a late entrant in that game.
I want to know who's going to keep score. OJ's a pretty good golfer. He's been working hard on his game, and we know LT loves it.
Penalty marker down as Hampton on the carry for the Dolphins as we come to the 2-minute warning. Let's see if there's a penalty first. There is a hold against the Dolphins.
Holding. Offense. Number 88. 2-minute notification. 2-minute notification.
Brad Kinchin on the hold as we do have the 2-minute warning. Dolphins continue to lead 31-23.
AT&T, the right
For the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP is Miami quarterback Dan Marino. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. Marino today with his 35th 300-yard passing day. He passed for 359 yards so far in this game, hitting 18 of 34 for 3 touchdowns. He was picked off twice. There are the numbers on the day for Marino. 300-yard game number 35. He reminds me of a young Joe Namath. Quick release.
Yeah, he has an excellent release. His footwork doesn't get enough credit. To be able to release that ball so quickly and accurately, you have to have quick feet, too. And Dan's footwork has improved over the years. Oh, boy, there's the old number 12 alongside.
And they still remember you here alongside Maynard's number 13. And several times tonight when this stadium was full, they turned around to the broadcast booth and waved for Joe. In fact, a couple of them even asked you to suit up today.
Boy, I'd love to. You know, football, I love playing football. The only downside of it was losing and getting hurt. That's the only 2 bad things about it to me.
Marino directing the Dolphins to a lead and perhaps another win to remain a game behind Buffalo in the AFC East. That's Lorenzo Hampton. The Jets are out of timeouts. The clock will just tick away now. And you know, this has been a remarkable turnaround for the Dolphins, who were 0-4, winless in the preseason. They were 1-3 through their first 4 games and have gone 5-1 since. And a pretty good turnaround for a team with a week remaining schedule and a good chance to be a playoff team once again.
Sure, and they got Hampton back here now. He's healthy again. Lorenzo, I might add, just did a smart thing in not going out of bounds that time. He could have continued to run around then, but he didn't want to stop the clock.
Well, you know, this will be the first time that Miami has had back-to-back AFC East Division wins since 1986. Roby's punt. Townsell sees it bounce and then take a great Miami roll. It'll be downed inside the 25-yard line. I don't know if Townsell couldn't get there or what, but turns into a good play for the Dolphins as the kick covers 49 yards. Coming up tonight here on NBC, the magical world of Disney will feature a 2-hour all-star musical world premiere movie in Polly. The Cosby Show's Felicia Rashad in Polly. Then the real-life murder case that shocked the nation comes to television. That'll be on Manhunt, the search for the Night Stalker. NBC world premiere movie tonight. Bryan's pass complete to Toon for a Jet first down. Judson covering and giving Toon plenty of cushion in this situation. 16-13. The Broncos pull it out at Kansas City as the Broncos beat the Chiefs 16-13 on a field goal. Buffalo game is now final, and New Orleans on the way to victory. That's a final score, too. The Redskins, after losing to Dallas last week, go into Philadelphia, hold the Eagles to a field goal and win it 10-3. Werner, another Jet first down, but stays inbounds, and the clock continues to roll. You see the time down to 40 seconds.
Werner tried to get out of bounds. That was good defensive effort there, keeping him inbounds and keeping the clock running.
O'Brien wide open again to Newbert. Newbert is down to the 27-yard line with 20 seconds left. Remember now, the Jets trail by 8. No timeouts left. And O'Brien stops the clock with 14 seconds. Well, earlier we had one of your pet peeves. You want to change the rule about the last 2 minutes. Our producer, Glenn Adamo, does not like that play.
Well, I don't like it either. I mean, why can't the quarterback do just the way they used to do it? Step back, throw the ball over the receiver's head by the sidelines. It does take a little bit of skill, but when the quarterback gets the ball and just throws it in the ground here, I think all of us, the fans, everyone's just getting the short end of this one. That's a stupid rule.
Brian Sauché has had a great game defensively for the Dolphins. He limped off a couple plays ago. They have to hope he's not seriously hurt. There's an interception as the Dolphins put an exclamation mark on the end of this victory over the Jets today as Don McNeil picks off the pass. There is a penalty marker down.
First down.
So the interception stands the third of the day for the Miami Dolphins. Reggie McElroy was holding. Dolphins wave it off, and they have the interception. Second of the season for McNeil. And number 3 on the afternoon for the much improved Dolphin defense.
Now, Don McNeil's had a rocky start. Here he is waving that football, made a big play in the interception, but back in the last exhibition game, he was on that waiver wire. He got let go and came back, and his job was up for grabs, and you can bet he's a happy young man right now.
Just 7 seconds separating the Dolphins from their 6th victory of the season. They'll remain a game behind Buffalo in the AFC East as they travel into Dallas to face the Cowboys next Sunday. The Jets, meanwhile, will drop to 2-8 on the season. Marino just nudges straight ahead, and that'll kill the clock. So after losing to the Jets at Joe Robbie Stadium in the 2nd week of the season, the Dolphins come to the Meadowlands and extract some revenge from the New York Jets as the Miami Dolphins come from behind to win this one. At one point of the game, they were down by 17, but they scored 28 unanswered points to wrest the lead from the Jets and then hold on to win it by 8. Final score from the Meadowlands, 31-23. The Dolphins over the Jets as the Dolphins win for the 6th time this season. We'll be back with some final comments in just a moment.